Guys, the
What?
goblin is coming.
What do you mean?
I feel like I came in right when we started lagging. That's my favorite. As soon as I start to do something, the thing lags out. Yay! Oh, hey, look at that, our best friend. Our best buddy. I'm happy that Trigglypuff is part of our reel now. But there is a couple PSAs that everybody needs to know. Be sure to spay and neuter your Trigglypuff. Also, be very wary, as it will jump to other trainers if you don't keep a leash on it. And will definitely try to steal Poké Snacks as much as possible. So be aware, make sure you read up on your Trigglypuff care. Welcome. There's a couple of new faces in the chat that I've seen from other places, but not over here. Welcome, and thank you very much for becoming a member. We have 2 members to welcome, so if you guys can send them some pucks, welcome pucks to Maria and to Dottie. Thank you. All right. So there's been a lot of people that have been very, very wrong about Non-Sequitur Show. With what had happened, what had gone on, what sort of where things went and how things progressed. And so because there are so many people that are so wrong, and some people are purposefully, actively being wrong and spreading misinformation, I thought it might be valuable to sort of go over things, maybe sort of make sure that we get things a little bit up to date. Nikki, thank you so much. We have, this is sort of like a prequel, because I want to kind of look at what we were aware of when things went down. Back, oh god, what is the date on this? What does that say? June 13th, 2019. That's how long this has been. And so I thought it would be valuable to kind of take a look back, because hopefully we should be getting a movement from the court on that very shortly, as, you know, surprise, surprise, Kyle misses court date. Submission date, I should say. So, with that being missed, this series is essentially going to go over all of the documentation. This is the only video I'm going to be looking at, but it's also just sort of sets up so people kind of know where things were at when paperwork was submitted, so you have a little bit of context. Once we're done with this, we'll look at the first submission all the way till whatever we're at by the time we get there. Yeah, no, Truffle's right. Last decade. Correct. That's a... So anybody who did just become a member, you now have access to pucks, you have access to screaming goblins, you have access to your very own Trigglypuff. Congratulations, you are now a Pokemon trainer and the proud owner of a Trigglypuff. Again, be sure to read up on your Trigglypuff care. It is very important. You need to make sure that you wash them with a very specific brand of poke shampoo. Otherwise, they're liable to get fleas very, very easily. So please make sure you read up on that. There should be a handbook that gets emailed to you automatically. If you don't get it, please make me aware, and I'll make sure that gets to you. As a member, you also get access to the Discord. So if you do have any questions about your Trigglypuff and your Trigglypuff's care, you may ask me there over on Discord. I will send out... I usually, when a couple members come in, I send out the link in a community tab that's posted for members only, so keep a lookout for that if you are interested in joining the Discord. It's not a requirement if you don't want to, so don't feel obligated. Alright, so let's get started. Back in July of 2019, the Non-Sequitur Show was in full swing. There were a couple of offshoot shows that were taking place on the channel, and as many of you know, Kyle tried to swipe the channel from Steve, who owned it. This is essentially the last conversation that sort of all these people had together before litigation. So this was basically the last-ditch effort. Don't feed your Trigglypuff after midnight. Oh, God damn it. This is the last-ditch effort, essentially, that people had made to try to prevent what has happened from happening. And you'll notice that there's 3 people that are trying and 1 person who's very much not. And so we get a little bit of their back and forth at the beginning, and then we get Kyle coming in. So let's see what we got, shall we?
You and Red, Kyle, you just sit down in this little chat room here and talk.
No, I've been trying to. Kyle hasn't responded to
well,
my messages. He hasn't seen my messages.
If he wants me to produce this show, he's going to have to talk to you.
And
Reds
Reds has said that
I'm fucking tired, and Reds is going to be here too because
and Reds has said that
tired of.
Hang on.
I'm not going to be in the middle of this.
Agreed.
Here is a newsflash for you, period. You are not the only one that made Non Sequitur great, and you are not the only one that worked their ass off to make it what it is today, period. If you want to take credit for that, then yes, I will go my separate ways, and I will be more than happy to take the entire damn crew with me, period. You can go ahead and make this ship sail all on your own, but you're going to find out the hard way. It's a very hard life to live.
Can you read that over again? What you wrote to him and what he wrote back? Can I hear that again?
So what we have here is essentially they're sitting around waiting for what was going to be a Non Sequitur Show episode that had Red's rhetoric in it, probably with some kind of flat earther, and Kyle and Steve, supposedly. Yes, we miss Boole, and as you can see, Boole was not afraid to throw his weight around when he was put in a position he wasn't comfortable with. The thing is that essentially, as you can see here, Kyle was already of the opinion that he could run the show by himself. He's probably still of that opinion. I think he's that stupid that he still thinks that if he had control of the show, things wouldn't go wrong, and it's all Steve's fault that things went wrong. As you can see, it's not. Spoiler alert. You're responsible for your own damn decisions. So, I think that's kind of where everybody was starting from. There was obviously some points of contention from different areas. Steve obviously concerned about what was going on with the show. Reds and Boole sick and tired of getting dragged in the middle of things, and we don't know where Kyle's at yet, except that he seems to think that he can do everything all by himself. So, let's keep going.
Sure. Hang on. Let me just make sure I'm crafting this.
Because here's the thing, David, does Kyle ever tell us what was going on half the time? Has he, for the last couple months, told us?
I didn't find out till 15 minutes that there was supposed to be a show at 8 o'clock tonight.
And
so that's important. Boole didn't know that there was supposed to be a show that night until 15 minutes ahead. Boole had his own personal struggles, making that kind of a snap decision schedule very, very difficult for him to work around. Kyle's aware of this. Steve is aware of this. Reds is aware of this. I was aware of this. This is something that pretty much was common knowledge, and he talked about on a regular basis. So to just be like, snap, hey, go do this, hey, go do that, hey, go do this. A producer is not a slave. They ought not to be treated as one, and if you do that, you're an asshole. Just a heads up. But yeah, Truffle's correct. That's bad planning. It is incredibly bad planning. It doesn't make it's not good for your show. It's people aren't prepared. People aren't, set up properly. They don't have time to get themselves in a good position. You have issues with, like, the show not necessarily always taking place at the same time. So if you want to have a show, especially if you want to do well on YouTube, one of the best things you can do is be consistent. One of the main reasons I'm even streaming today is the sake of being consistent. I'm later than normal, but I was trying to help out Player. And so I was like, you know what? I have too much regular stuff, like, just house stuff to do today. I'm just gonna wait until tonight and go tonight, and yeah, it's worked out in my favor. Jackalope for 2 said, half y'all need to hit that like button. Half y'all need to hit that like button yet. Like, subscribe, become a member if you would like. There's lots of, you can get your very own Trigglypuff. So yeah, let's continue. You can hear the frustration already coming out between these two.
Does he ever tell you
minutes
that it's
prior.
canceled? Does he ever tell you what's going on? At any way, I've asked. He doesn't respond to my messages. He hasn't for quite some time.
I think he only responds to me because he has to. So, no,
Okay.
basically.
Here's a news flash for you. You are not the only one that made non sequitur great,
No,
and you
the
are not the
first
only
one.
one that
The first
Hang
one.
on.
Okay.
I'm reading it to myself,
Oh,
Steve. Hang
sorry.
on.
Okay.
Only one that has worked their ass off to make it what it is today. As of right now, I am in a call with Steve McCrae and David. Period. We all need to sit down and talk about this before we go further and before this blows up into something that we all don't want.
And there you have it. This is their last ditch effort of trying to communicate and try and work with Kyle. He was already cutting off communications and refusing to talk to Steve about when there were shows and when there wasn't, so that he wouldn't show up. We find that out later in other conversations and things that Kyle has said himself. You've got Boole and Steve both incredibly frustrated with how they're being treated and how they're being ignored, which is totally fair in my humble opinion. And then you've got Reds just being like, we need to sit down in a conversation and have a call. None of this text back and forth, no waiting on anybody. We sit here, we have this conversation, and we hash this shit out before things go off the rails. Unfortunately for these three, shit was already off the rails. This point was way too late. And the reason that happened is because, which you can see if you go back and watch older episodes, if you go back and watch sort of the newer updated stuff with that Steve has been in, they tried to give Kyle as much leeway as possible. They did everything that they could to give him as much time as and as much charity as they possibly could to not go down this road. But yeah, the last ditch effort, man. Yeah, A for effort, you tried. I don't think anybody really wanted this to get dragged out into a 2-year fucking lawsuit.
Period. If you do not let me rephrase that. I hope you know that all this is coming from a really good place for me personally. Period. I do not want there to be a rift with anybody at any point, at any time, especially with the crew of the Non Sequitur show. Period.
Hang on, I got a light going out.
David will be sending you a link shortly, and I hope that you click it so we can talk about this in a calm and civilized manner. Period.
He's got his like from the...
See you in the call.
He's got his like, so...
And can
Period.
So at that point, Kyle had been sent the link, and we're just in a point where they're doing what they can. They're trying to come from a good place. They're not wanting this to break up. They're not wanting the show to fucking implode, and they're trying to sort of meet Kyle where he's at. Kyle knows who is in this call. He's got this message from Reds now. He knows that Steve is there. He knows that Boole is there. He knows that Reds is there. And he knows ahead of time, clicking on that link, he knows that they're coming to sit down and have this conversation and hash this out. They're trying to be chill, calm, and like, listen, we don't want to fight. We want to know what the hell is going on and how we can sort this out between us. And so... there's no ambush here. There's no, like, oh, people are ganging up on other people. There's no that he knows what he's getting into. Let's keep going. Buttons.
Can you read that first part in his response again? I really want to hear that he had actually said what he has just said when he and I started this channel together. It was 50-50 from day one, which I've not seen a dime from. I not even have access to the financials. He hasn't let me see the Patreon. He hasn't let me see the super chats. I have nothing from the channel yet.
Steve, do me a favor. All right, shut the fuck up. I'm going to go ahead and do it. David, I need you to do me a favor. The very moment Kyle comes in, I need you to like cut my audio or tell me to shut the fuck up, okay? Can you do that?
Sure, I mean, I can keep an eye on it.
Why,
All right,
why?
good. I'm going to do this as
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Go
because
ahead.
I don't
I got you,
I
I got
don't
you. I
need
understand.
any. Okay. So here's the entire thing. I've spoken to Fight the Flat Earth, and we will have to talk about Steve afterward. You don't want to come on due to that. I totally understand. There is another issue with a patron I haven't dealt with, and you're just going to have to trust me on that. My response: are you saying there is no chance of Steve McRae being allowed on Non Sequitur? At this point, it just seems like you're blatantly kicking him out. Still send me the link. He goes, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying until I address what happened 2 nights ago. What happened 2 nights ago? I need to know this right now, otherwise I'm about to lose my shit. Sends me the link, that video I just played from Tom Rappett. And then he says the following after that. You're going to have to let me handle things my way on this one, buddy. Misspelled buddy. We get put in shitty situations.
Whoops. My bad. There's a, something that you'll notice. Oh god, no, where did you go? What were we at? I don't even know, I'll find it. Yeah. So there was some kind of issue with a Patreon. Now, if I'm remembering correctly, because I believe Steve has talked about this before, there was a Patreon that was one of Steve's Patreons. Not a Non Sequitur Show Patreon, one of Steve's Patreons. And he was trying to use Steve's Patreon to either troll or to, like, boost his own stuff. He was trying to use Steve's Patreon to essentially advertise. And Steve was like, no, that doesn't happen here. I'm kicking you out. And he did. Now, from what I recall, he got incredibly angry at him, but I haven't seen that video, I don't know. But his reasoning makes complete sense to me. So Kyle is using that as an excuse or as a catalyst to basically lock Steve out of anything that's going on, quote-unquote, until that's talked about. But if you notice, Steve has already said that Kyle's not answering him. So he's saying that, oh, he can't be a part of anything until I talk to him, and then refusing to talk to him. Shocking, I know. Excuse me for 1 second while I get back where we hit, because I accidentally hit the 10 things all flat earthers say.
And I have here's my reply. Saying there is no chance of Steve McRae being allowed on Non Sequitur. At this point, it just seems like you're blatantly kicking him out. Still send me the link. He goes, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying until I address what happened 2 nights ago. What happened 2 nights ago? I need to...
Letty, no. Was it really? Was it the Duke's friend? No! Okay, so there's this guy on Twitter named the Duke who doesn't know how a Venn diagram works. And I guess. And he's been, like, after Steve's ass for, like, 2 years since he lost a debate on Modern Day Debates, and he is like, he's a peach. he's the dick. And so that guy's friend was trolling around he was Steve's Patreon trolling around, so Steve kicked him out, and Kyle got mad about it to use it as an excuse. Oh my god, the fact that that's Duke's friend makes this so much better. Oh, okay. Let's keep going. Oh, no. Let's keep going.
To know this right now, otherwise I'm about to lose my shit. Sends me the link, that video I just played from Tom Rappett. And then he says the following after that. You're going to have to let me handle things my way on this one, buddy.
I'm not your buddy,
misspelled
guy.
Buddy. We get put in shitty situations we don't ask for, but we have a responsibility to do the right thing in the situation. Now you watch that video and look at the name he put in his video window, and then tell me you'd be okay with how he represented it. I think you and I have here's my reply. I think you and I have very different opinions on what is the right thing to do in this situation. I'm telling you right now that my solution to this will not be something that you like. Steve McRae is a core part of the Steve McRae is a core part of the Non Sequitur, and just because some people are butthurt doesn't mean they are to be kicked off in any way, shape, or form. Also, just because you are a $50 patron, that does not give you the right to steamroll the conversation or be wrong on the internet without being called out. Diplomacy is all well and good. And you know as well as I do, Steve does not come from a bad place when he corrects other individuals. So yes, I have watched that video, and I am 100% in agreement with Steve. And by the way, that $50 patron was Steve's patron, not yours. That has absolutely nothing to do with non sequitur. If you go through this, you will be setting a very dangerous precedent for yourself that you will bend to the will of whoever gives you the most money. And I hope to whatever God that may exist that you do not go down that route. I hope you make me proud, buddy.
I'm not your guy, friend. Yeah, so it was this $50 Patreon that was going around basically trolling and preaching, and you know how that goes.
Philosophy.
You guys have seen that song and dance over on Steve's channel. Hell, you've seen that song and dance over here. Philosophy has its place, and when people try and use it to troll based on money and like, this is absurd, absolutely absurd. To be honest, it would be really interesting to hear Kyle's take on philosophy, because I bet it's a hot steaming pile of garbage. But as you can see, this is like completely unreasonable, right?
Response. Then you just have to be disappointed. And yeah, it fucking did have something to do with me because of the show name in the goddamn window. And your solution to this may not be something that I like. Is that supposed to be a threat or something? Because I tell you right now, I don't respond in any way to threats. And
so as you can see, Kyle's already getting defensive, because right now Rez is reading off the response that Kyle gave to him. And Reds is basically saying, hey, if you do this, you're not gonna like how it's handled because you're setting a dangerous precedent for yourself. He's giving him a warning, not a threat. And that warning is essentially, if you set a precedent where you're gonna do whatever the biggest backer tells you to do based on money, you will not have a show that is what the Non Sequitur show was. You're not gonna have the kind of show that that has been doing so well. You're also going to set a precedent for yourself. That means that if you ever want to kick a Patreon because they're not acting appropriately, you're not going to be able to based on however much money. And so that's not a good look, buddy. Not your buddy, guy. I'm not your guy, friend. Boys have a funny way of communicating sometimes.
And oftentimes will do the opposite just despite the person making a threat. My response, then do the opposite and stick to your word. If people are threatening to leave the Patreon or stopping supporters, then fuck them. Why you bend in one way and not the other is entirely a mystery to me. My solution is simple. Fuck the haters. People are going to hate no matter who you have as a co-host. I have people who are pissed off as fuck about you bringing on Mr. Atheist, of all people. You are going to fight a losing battle trying to please everybody. Here's a newsflash for you. And for anyone else who hasn't figured this out by now. I don't do fucking thing to please anyone except the greater benefit of show. End of discussion. If that means getting rid of people who are tarnishing that, then you best believe I will do it and will not even flinch.
So as soon as Reds called him out for doing things one way and not, like, for being inconsistent, Kyle immediately doubled down and being like, no, if Steve doesn't behave the way I want him to towards his Patreons, no matter how they're behaving because they're bringing money in, fuck Steve. It's like, Steve is not the problematic person here. The gaslighting here is amazing. Oh, there's pizza. Damn it, I told you guys that pizza was gonna show up when I had already been, like, this. Damn it. Fuck off, negative exponents. Nobody threatened you, you lying piece of shit. Let's keep going.
Don't spend 22 out of 24 hours a day crafting thumbnails that stand out the SEO book guess, everything that goes into this goddamn channel so that someone can just...
Oh, by the way, exponents, we're still waiting for all that information, so you're gonna get put in timeout, and then your next answer can be all that information we asked you for last time that you said you would provide, so go ahead and send that. That will be your next message to us, and if it's not your next message to us, you can get another timeout for another 300 seconds, and you can think about what you're doing. No problem. It's okay. I believe in you. I'm sure you remember all of the things that you said you were going to provide. Also, if you were threatened, show, don't tell. Let's keep going.
Show up at showtime, feel like they're a part of something, literally contribute zero other than showing up, then hide behind the name or drag the name into it when I get into fight with literally everyone on the internet. There is only one person that has a solution to this problem. That is me. No one else will decide what happens in this situation.
So you see that Kyle's already got it in his brain that he's the one in control of everything, that he's the one who gets to make the decision about whether or not Steve is allotted to be allowed around based on behavior. So here's the thing, if you have a problem with somebody's behavior, you can have that discussion. If you think that they're being problematic towards the brand, you can have that discussion. Kyle's not having that discussion, he's trying to dictate. And you don't get to dictate in a partnership. That is not how that works. You don't get to do that, that's just not how that works. Can we get Trigglypuff in the chat for the couple of haters that are swinging by? So if you are upset, then come to the table and discuss. If you want to have that conversation, that's totally fine. You can have that conversation, but again, you do not get to dictate. On top of that, he's talking about this problematic behavior that may or may not exist. And so, what behavior are you talking about? He's talking about people being upset about the definition of atheism. You're doing a show called the Non Sequitur Show with the title Opinions Are Sacred. So if opinions are sacred, and having difficult discussions is part of the shtick you do, how are you going to bow whenever anybody has a problem with one of the hosts? By one of the hosts, I mean your business partner. Steve wasn't ever just a host. Steve was the founder. It doesn't work like that, dumbass. You don't get to do shit like that. It's just not how that goes. Oh, Kyle's a fucking clown.
Situation. I have worked too goddamn hard to build a brand that I will not watch it set on fire by some unhinged asshole who has a...
So now he's calling Steve an unhinged asshole, and that Steve's going to light Non Sequitur on fire, and that's definitely not the thing that... This is like Kyle, like, getting up and grabbing... This is the Non Sequitur Show. And he's got, like, this gasoline tank, and he's just pouring it all over. How could Steve do this? God damn it, dude. And this is when they're still trying to help. This is when they're still trying to have a conversation. Steve's not doing anything because I'm not answering his messages. He doesn't show up because I don't answer his messages, and I don't tell anybody when there's a show. Oh my god.
Bone to pick with everyone on the internet to make him feel more right about his position. And if that's a rift you can't see past, then it was great being a part of things with you, Reds, and we can end things amicably here. Here's a newsflash for you. You are not the only one that made
So that's what Kyle said, and now this is what Reds has responded with.
Non Sequitur great, and you are not the only one that has worked their asses off to make it what it is today. As of right now, I am in a call with Steve McRae and David. We all need to sit down and talk about this before we go further and before this blows up into something that we all don't want. I hope you know that all of this is coming from a really good place for me personally. I do not want there to be a rift with anybody at any point, at any time, especially with the crew of the Non Sequitur Show. David will be sending you a link shortly. I hope you click it so we can talk about this in a calm, civilized manner. See you in the call. Yeah. And finally, and selfishly, I explained to him Sunday what happened with me on Friday and the doctor biopsying that mole he believed to cancerous, and test results would be later this week, and absolutely terrified I was about that. And the thought, I would honestly thought that would be a hint that I literally have my fucking life in mind this week, and maybe I could a few days without dealing with petty bullshit, but nope. A few hours later, I'm bombarded by that fucking video.
Yeah.
So, as you can see here, Kyle is trying to use his little health scare as a get-out-of-jail-free card. Yeah, it's scary to have to go through medical testing. Yes, that's terrifying, and nobody likes that. However, this shit had been going on for months. He's bitching about Steve not showing up, and then he's bitching about getting messages from Steve. Or about Steve. And so who are the people bombarding him, by the way? Who do you think it was that didn't like Steve and the way he had handled this Patreon that was bombarding Kyle with messages? So it wasn't Steve, it wasn't Boole, it wasn't Reds, it wasn't anybody from the Non Sequitur Show, or that core crew of those two. So who was it? Well, who were his friends at the time? Who were his friends that may have had motive, who didn't like Steve? Maybe those were the people that were bombarding him with messages, and maybe if your friends are bombarding you with messages when it's not okay for them to be bombarding you with messages, you can mute them, or you can tell them to stop. If you don't want to deal with bullshit and people are sending you bullshit, don't blame Steve for that. He didn't send it to you. Not that complicated.
And by the way, that video I stand by, that was my $50 Patreon, David. It was Chris who's using my platform, my channel, to try to promote his own channel. He has told Ozzy, he's told other people that all he wants to do is promote his videos. That's why he was saying, hey, come to my video, watch my video, dissect my video. I told him I wasn't going to do that. I didn't want his money for that. I'm not going to be bought at all. It had nothing to do with non sequitur. Yes, I was using non sequitur Zoom, but nobody attaches the two together. There's on my channel, my words, my opinions, which, by the way, this channel was founded upon from day one. Opinions are supposed to be sacred, unless all of a sudden it bruises Kyle's ego, and all of a sudden those opinions are nothing that he stands behind. Well, that's too goddamn bad. We built this channel together from day one. I brought in most of the guests initially. He brought in the other guests, and he said, one sec, let me finish this. Let me finish, Dave.
Difficult shit right now, Kyle. Period. Believe me, I feel for you.
Guys.
Period.
1 second.
Okay.
Because Kyle's asking if it's the same link. I'm about to answer him yes, which means he's ready to come in.
Well, what are we going to do for the show then tonight?
I don't know, but you all got to talk to him.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can tell that Boole is getting pretty frustrated with, he sent him the link, and Kyle's like, is this the link? Kyle knows exactly what link he's clicking on. There is no surprise here when he enters this room, because I've heard that going around. I've heard people say that, oh, you ambushed him. He was well aware ahead of time. He got the message, he was asking about the link, he knows damn well exactly what he's walking into, so... Oh, look, sorry, no, back to timeout. Sorry, Negative, you gotta answer the questions from last Thursday. If you don't answer the questions, you offered the information. If you can't provide the information or any of that evidence that you said you had, there's another 30-second timeout, and then you could come in. We're waiting on you, bud. It's all on you. I don't know why you're not sending the stuff you said you had. Pretty suspicious, in my opinion. Trigglypuff's in the chat for our instead of F's in the chat for our poor uni lapdog that's here. So Trigglypuff's in the chat. Let's keep going.
Yeah, it's not fair to put Dave in this position, because Dave's on our side.
I've been in the middle of this whole
Oh, by the way, this whole talk later nonsense, he had a whole week to reach out to me and I didn't get a single message, so tell you where that's about going. Let's keep going.
fucking thing.
Yeah, no.
So fucking talk to each other. Talk to these people. Just talk, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Can I use the speech to text, or should I just shut the fuck up right now?
You can talk if you want. I don't care.
Okay. I'm just going to do speech to text right quick. I don't want to mute myself because I want Steve McRae to hear what the hell's being typed. Okay? So that's the only reason I'm not muting, just full disclosure.
Guys,
okay, so I'm taking off.
Goblin is
Actually,
coming.
I'll leave my headphones on.
What do you mean?
Just everyone do me a favor, shut the fuck up for a second. And I apologize that you're going through a lot of shit right now, Kyle, period. Believe me, I know the feeling, especially... Oh, wait. Nope, I don't know the feeling of having cancer, so I am not going to say that.
Yeah, at the time, Kyle had a cancer scare. As far as we know, came up not the case, but at the time, they weren't sure. That was what the testing was for.
But the non sequitur is a place where opinions are sacred. Period. That was our actual fucking catchphrase.
Hey, that's the thing I said. I've also been requested to read out loud. Negative Exponents says I threatened him from Red's Rhetoric. LOL, hey Negative Exponents, give me permission to show our entire DM history and the transcript of our entire conversation. I dare you. So there's the challenge. I mean, like I said, if you're getting threatened, show don't tell. Let's keep going.
Period. I think that can still be the case, And I think we can actually fix this. Period.
So you can see, despite Kyle's hostility, which he has already clearly been hostile, just through text messages alone, let alone his blatant hostility towards Steve and how aggressive he's being, they're still trying to reach out to him. Their goal is to try and talk to him to try and work things out as best as they can.
Let me delete that last bit. But nothing is going to be solved unless we have an actual conversation about this. Period. Removing Steve behind his back is not going to fix any of it. Period. Hang on, I'm going to remove that last bit. I can't be too confrontational at this point because he's obviously in a emotional limbo right now.
State. Yeah, no, and I'm aware of that too. That's why I haven't really gone after any of this with him.
And I apologize.
So they're trying to cater to his sensibilities. They're trying to cater to his emotional state and his psychological state, which is clearly not in it. What they think, as far as they know, is not in a good place. They think that he's telling them that, hey, I was having a really hard time. I've had all this medical stuff going on, that I'm getting this garbage dumped on me, etc., etc., etc. And so that's just, they've been trying to like be gentle and be light about it and be like, okay, we want to talk about this, but we don't want to be like too confrontational. We want to try and have a conversation. We don't want this to go down a negative route, but if it does, it's not going to be good for you. We're looking out for you. We're trying to reach a hand out in communication for you. Nobody wants this, except that they didn't know at the time that, yeah, Kyle did want this because fuck Steve. Let's keep going.
Hang on. That's supposed to be that.
Remember, Kyle is a big fat liar who lies, so he kind of set all this up. I'm not saying he set up, like, his medical issue. I'm sure his medical issue was... I don't know whether or not that was legit, but assuming it was, assuming he was actually telling the truth about a singular thing, then he might have, yeah, been a little bit in an iffy place, but he had been doing this, like I said, for months. This had been going on. This was preconceived. This was planned out, that he was going to try to get rid of Steve and how he was going to do it. So he's looking for excuses and reasons to not talk to Steve so he can bitch about how Steve's not doing anything because he's not talking to him. Like, he's setting this up, right? So using his medical stuff as a get out of jail free card is pretty bullshittery.
Not they. That
you
you are going through a lot of shit right now. Our actual fucking catchphrase, but nothing's going to be resolved unless we have an actual conversation about this. This is why I am here. Period. Because this is something I believe in.
Now he wants the link for the flat earth.
Period.
Before he comes in, he wants me to send him the link for the flat earther. Well, the flat earther's gonna hear it then.
Sorry, I turned my AC on.
I think Boole just said that Kyle gave the flat earther that Reds is supposed to be talking to, because again, this is pre-show, and it was like a standard that they were recording and dealing with, like all of the pre-show stuff was recorded, so also a thing that Kyle knew going in.
No. Don't send the link to Flat Earther. Why would the Flat Earther be in here?
Yeah.
I know what he's trying to do. He's basically saying he's trying to get the Flat Earther in here so it will be uncomfortable for us to talk about this before the show.
Yeah, and it needs to be talked about.
Yup. I think Red's nailed that one on the head.
I've been trying to talk to him for 3 weeks. He's been blowing me off, and every time I ask about the financials, I get nothing, which I'm kind of wondering where all the money has gone.
Try not.
He's been trying to get a hold of him for 3 weeks and has been asking for months about where the money is and trying to get financials.
To make it all about the money, Steve. Just save
But he's kicking me off the show, and all of a sudden I can't get access to the financials either. This is a little bit questionable to me. And he's not. This is our show. This is his and I's. It isn't his unilateral decision. I made this channel. I gave it to him. I made this channel.
I understand that. I understand that.
So
Steve.
how is he making
I do.
unilateral
I really
decisions
do.
and think that it's okay to do so? What kind of
That's
arrogance
what we.
ego is
That's
that?
what. That is the avenue we need to go down.
I
Is
agree.
just this is supposed to be a team effort. Do not say money specifically. This is supposed to be a team effort in all aspects, and then it will get into financials. But that needs to be established first before we go further.
Yeah, they have to, essentially what Reds is saying is they have to establish that there is communication and positivity moving forward. If they can't get Kyle to agree to work with them in any fashion, there's not even any point in talking about the financials, because now that's a whole different problem that you're dealing with. So it's important to get to a level playing field and a field of understanding, so that way you can then move forward into those kinds of topics. Because, I mean, obviously Kyle does have a money issue. I mean, he said so. The excuse that he's using is that Steve kicked off a $50 Patreon off of Steve's personal Patreon. That's not even the Non Sequitur Show Patreon. And so because that's the case, it makes sense that, like, it makes sense that Steve is worried anyway, because it was $10,000. But also, it makes sense that if Kyle's issue is money, then we need to talk about money, right? But Reds is 100% right. I agree with him.
Right.
And Steve, I swear to fuck, calm your tits. I understand you're pissed. Believe me, I'm pissed off for you. I'm fucking fuming right now.
Well, it's just.
But I need you to keep your shit together.
Reds, it's not that I'm pissed. I trusted Kyle, and I have a handshake with him. We started from day one. I want to trust somebody unequivocally, and it seems like he's going behind my back at this point. That's not how trust works.
Seems like, oh, poor Steve. He tries so hard. He tries so hard to give Kyle the benefit of the doubt. It seems like it. I don't know if he is, but it seems like it. Because it was. Oh.
He's been slowly doing this.
Yeah.
We're not telling me, he's not asking my permission for anything. He said he wants to have other shows on the channel. That's okay, whatever. He doesn't have his own channel. That's what he said, and I'm okay with that. But he's never asked my input on those.
Oh, what about Cheshcraft or Tastecraft? Oh no.
Things, right? And this was supposed to be from day one. We started the podcast from day one. We started the channel, and all of a sudden he's more advocating this channel to be more into the atheism and the gay stuff, which is fine. I'm not against any of that, but that's not what Non Sequitur was supposed to be about, right?
Yeah.
And
So essentially what Steve is saying is that, like, listen, if you have topics and things that you want to talk about, that's fine. And you want to create your own little shows around them, that's also fine. I don't have a problem with this. But this brand that Kyle cares so much about, he's driving a giant truck through it because he's shifting focus away from what the brand ever was meant to be or the way it was designed. And you can do that, but you can't, if you have a partner, you can't unilaterally do that by yourself. You need your partner's input to be able to do that and make it successful. And so instead of doing that, Kyle decided to just be like, yeah, but Steve can just get out.
so
We see how that went for him. Yes, don't forget, Trigglypuff's in the chat.
my channel that I gave to him for SEO because he talked me into giving it to him, right? Because I started the Twitter, he took me off that. I started the Patreon, he took me off that. I started all those things and put it into his name because of financial things, because because of my medical, which he knows of, right? And all of a sudden,
And now he's using that to his advantage.
Right,
so.
Exactly. Which I don't know how you say that you have a bond and a trust with somebody, and then they slowly do that to you. I don't get it. What am I missing here?
You're not missing anything, Steve. You don't have trust with this person. This person is taking advantage of your trusting nature and fucking you over.
This is something that we're going to have to
He's
talk.
sitting here demanding the link on fucking Facebook.
Who, Kyle?
Kyle. He's demanding.
So Kyle is Kyle is talking to Reds, knows exactly what's going on and that they want to talk to him, and is also talking to Boole separately on Facebook, demanding the links around. Like, you were given the link already, just to go in. What are you doing? Essentially, he's trying to bounce the ball around and get the flat. Reds is right, getting the flat earther in there so they don't have to have the conversation that he's so saying that he needs to have with Steve. He says he's not going to move forward until he has that conversation with Steve, and he's refusing to talk to Steve. Funny that.
The link for the Flat Earther on Facebook.
Did you tell him I'm doing the show tonight?
No, Steve, I didn't.
Okay, well, tell him I'm doing the show tonight because the
No.
Reds will not do a show without me.
I'm not. Then y'all need to tell him that.
Reds, could you tell him that?
No.
Yeah, I don't.
They've been, so yeah, you see Bull is getting ping-ponged around by Kyle. Red's already told Kyle what was going on, and now he's messaging Bull separately to try and get other shit rolling, while Bull is like, what the fuck? We're trying to have a conversation with you. It's just Kyle is trying to take advantage of the situation. He's trying to take advantage of Bull.
I am not going to be in between this shit with y'all. I'm fucking stressed out. I'm autistic, and this is really starting to get to my point here.
Bullinator. I need you to listen to me for all of 20 seconds. Okay? Can you do that? Okay.
I'll give him.
Bullinator.
Are you fucking kidding me?
If
that
I
Flat
know.
Earther comes in, I'm going to close the goddamn link.
I know. Hear me out, dude. Hear me out. Bull, if I were to hop into my car right now, how long do you think it will take for me to get to your place?
I would imagine about 10 minutes.
Maybe even less.
Probably less, but max 10 minutes.
Max 10 minutes. Okay. So here's what I'm suggesting we do. Bull, you are not going to be involved in this in any way, shape, or form. You're not going to say a goddamn thing. You're not going to have to do a goddamn thing. In fact, that's what I suggest you do right now, is not a goddamn thing. Because this shit should not be your problem. I'm in full fucking agreement with you. So, how about this? If this does go south, and Kyle still demands a show, we'll all tell him to get fucked. And you know what, Bull? I'm buying you some food. Some good food, not Burger King shit. We'll actually go to a nice sit-down restaurant, my treat, bring your dog, he can go in the back. I'll have towels laid down and everything. How does that sound?
I want to go.
Sure.
Unfortunately, you're in California, and I'm sorry, plane tickets are a little expensive.
Somebody needs to tell him to get his butt in here. Talk to y'all.
So, as you can see, Kyle's already been given the link. He's been given access to everything. He can come in whenever he wants, and instead he's pestering Bull for a link he's already been given. Because he's trying to get the Flat Earther in there to just try and say, we can't talk about this now, we have a show to run, and he's stressing the hell out of Bull. He knows about Bull's issues at this time. He's known for a long time, as have most of us. And so he's basically just taking advantage of that, and I would probably say knowingly, I would bank. But yeah, like Red said, this is not Bull's problem. Bull is producing for them, and so he's basically just giving him the get out of jail free card. Bull, you don't have to do anything. And he's like, yeah, exactly. This is between Kyle and Steve, and it needs to be sorted out. It's just the only way to get Kyle to come in is by dragging in Reds and Bull, because Kyle was being a little bitch and running like a bitch from Steve. Steve is so scary, isn't he? But he was running from him specifically so he could have an excuse to kick him out, and so if he ignored him, he would just go away. That's not how that works. Also, yes, hashtag no BK in prison.
Reg, what do you want me to do?
He's not getting shit from me.
I want you to stay right there.
Okay.
And I'm going to send a message right now saying that we are waiting for you to hop in. We are not starting the show until we talk.
Yeah, because I'm supposed to do 4 shows a week minimum, plus a Flat Earth stuff. That was our agreement, because he wanted to do 5 days a week, and I said, well, I would do 4 and then a Flat Earth thing, which is 5 shows.
5 shows a week is a lot of shows. Like, that's you want to oversaturate your channel, that's how you oversaturate your channel. I wish you luck. Puck's having a snack.
And that's what we agreed upon. Nothing's ever changed from that, and all of a sudden I'm like doing 2 or 3. No.
Exactly.
And every guest I've sent to him has gotten back to me saying Kyle hasn't responded to my messages or my emails.
Yeah.
So I don't know what was going on with
let's
half
go
the
ahead.
guests I booked.
Let's go ahead and do this. Here we go. Kyle, we are in the call waiting for you, period. I hope you were able to find the link.
Oh, where's the link? I lost it somewhere. Where the fuck did it go? They're so nice to Kyle. Oh my god.
Period. Ah, god damn it.
Did you accidentally erase it?
Autocorrect sucks. Kyle, we are in the car waiting for you. It was supposed to be call! Fucking Google.
Fucking Google.
I don't know why you left. I don't know why. He's literally avoiding the conversation.
Yeah, and that.
Yeah, he's been literally avoiding the conversation for a couple of weeks at this point, if not months.
I'm sorry,
And
but you can't. I understand he's going through a lot of stuff, but this conversation must be had. This is my channel too, 50% my product. This was, I don't get this idea where he's going to make unilateral decisions. That's not the agreement that we had, and he's caving to peer pressure for people that I don't get along with. But that's too goddamn bad. There's people that have left this channel to come to my channel because they don't like the new shows that are out there. They don't watch them. They only want a non sequitur. They ask me where's all the shows like non sequitur.
Hang on. Kyle says if I can't get a link, I can't get in. Send him the link again because I guess he didn't get it.
Why isn't he using his link?
I have no idea.
Like, he gave his link to the Flat
I
Earther.
will have him send it again.
I swear to fuck, if that Flat Earther shows up in the middle of this conversation, the Flat Earther's gonna get cut off. Point blank.
So, as you can tell, Kyle is being a complete fucking shitbag. He's telling Reds he needs the link, he's telling Bull he needs the link, he's telling them different things, because of course he is, because he's trying to avoid the fucking conversation. So, he was already sent a link, he's been sent a link again, and now he's saying he can't find the link he's been given. How? This is like Flat Earth level of, I don't know how technology works, how do I join the call? Level of garbage. Absolute garbage. Hey, listen, guys, please. Please. Oh, also, fair warning ahead of time. This is going to be a little bit of a lengthy stream. Hopefully I won't go over the 2 hours, but I did want to give you guys a heads up because I honestly I didn't speed it up because I wanted to go through this in its entirety. Did I miss super chats? I didn't see any super chats, but I'm seeing them in my side bar. Why am I seeing them in my sidebar? Okay, I'm just gonna keep going. If you super chatted, thank you very much. Just let me know, because I didn't see it pop in. Let's keep going.
Just sent the link.
Yeah, I just literally got just 2 seconds ago. Shit, man, you haven't been on NonSeq in a while. What's up? I've been getting messages like that for weeks now.
Yup.
Yeah, let me get stuff going here. Hang on. Oh.
Okay, the super chat thing is just on my end. It's just Streamlabs yelling at me. It's a bug.
If you can't answer me, I'll do it. I just sent the link, Kyle. You have 2 links now, and I swear to fuck, if that guy comes into the conversation.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just being inundated with messages like the ones I just got lately.
For fuck's sake, Kyle.
What's he saying?
I ignored him. For fuck's sake, Kyle. Get into the show and have this conversation.
So you can see that Kyle is forcing Bull into this situation where he's being demanding, he's saying that he's not getting things that he so he's telling Reds he doesn't have the link and doesn't know where it is, but Bull has sent him the link twice. You can see where he's trying to play them. right? Even though Reds is saying we are in the call, for some reason he's still trying to play them against each other as if they're not all talking to each other at this fucking moment. It's a bizarre game to play. A bizarre game to play.
If you don't want to have it, then tell them.
Yo, Bull's mad.
Stop putting me in the middle of this shit.
Yeah, Kyle, stop being a complete fucking prick. Goddamn asshole. Can we get Triggerlypuffs in the chat for Kyle being a fucking complete trash bag? Thanks. You guys are the best.
Oh, nope.
That
Not happening. Not happening.
It is happening. We
So he knows who's in the call. He knows what they want to talk about. He knows who's here, and the first thing he says when he gets in is, nope, not happening. Good job, Kyle. Good job pretending like you are not 100% aware of what's happening and what you've been trying to avoid. My God, dude. First fucking words out of your mouth was, nope, not happening. Oh boy! Good start, Kyle. Good start.
we've got to have this conversation, Kyle. I'm sorry.
I mean, we can have this conversation, but we're not going live like this.
No, we're not going
Not
on.
going live.
Well, that was the point. Not going live.
Right.
We're actually not going live right now. This isn't live, right?
No.
No, it's not.
Okay, that's good.
How ridiculous. Like, how stupid do you think Steve, Reds, and Boole are collectively, Kyle? Like, how do you think that they would have just had this conversation live? Of course not. They're trying to fix things with you, you asshole. Why would they try and do that shit? They're honest people, unlike some others we could mention. They're not... Oh my god. Yeah, Dapper says if you pissed off Boole, you done messed up. Yes, it takes some time to have gotten Boole to that point, and Kyle did it. Don't fuck with Boole, man. Never do it. It's never a good look.
Okay, good.
For fuck's sake, don't make this live. Do not make this
Not
live.
live.
They later rescinded that and were like, fine, because of where it went. But it was never supposed to be live. It was recorded.
Here's number one.
Oh, so he's gonna come in and he's going to start dictating. So they're trying to sort out all of these problems and what's going on. Not only did Kyle refuse to listen, try to play back and forth, try to play like text tag, and then when he gets in, he's like, no, this is not happening. Then when they're like, well, we're not, he's like demanding, we're not going live like this, and everybody's like, oh, fucking course we're not. And then immediately goes into, okay, first fucking thing you guys gotta, he's like, look at his attitude. Listen to what he says and how he says it. Like, he is immediately trying to domineer and say what everybody else's problems are, and that his problems take priority and his shit takes priority, even though he's been avoiding this conversation and trying to not have this conversation for weeks. 3 weeks Steve had been trying to talk to him. Let's keep going.
This can happen after I calm down later. Because
You can't talk to me right now because I'm upset. Yeah, that's not how that works. Because they tried for 3 weeks to talk to you. Kyle does not realize at this point that he has lost control of the situation. I think he's worried that he has, but he does not realize that things are out of his hands now. He pushed it off too long and was not able to deal with it, and he's not dealing with people who are just pushovers. This is where we get into the really fun analytic stuff.
I just finished telling each and every one of you that I'm dealing with something a lot more important than any of this shit this week. Okay? And
3 weeks, Kyle. 3 weeks. People have been trying to get a hold of you. This 1 week having garbage going on is still 3 weeks of all three of these people trying to deal with your dumb ass. That may or may not be that important. He's very, very self-important.
Being blindsided like this after explaining that I don't want to deal with petty bullshit.
Blindsided. And there we've got gaslighting. He was not blindsided. He knew very well what he was getting into when he came to this call. If he didn't want to deal with it and legitimately couldn't do it, he could have said, listen, he shouldn't have, one, set up a show for that day. If he was so emotional and in such a bad place, why did he call Boole 15 minutes before the show was supposed to start to say we were going live? If you're in such an emotional state over what's been going on with you that week, why are you having a show? Secondly, you're not blindsided by shit. They've been trying to talk to you for 3 weeks. And then you knew who was in this call before you came in. The bullshit right out the gate. Immediately. He sounds pretty triggered though, I ain't gonna lie. He sounds triggered.
This week, when I'm concerned if my life's gonna be affected for the rest of my life when my test results.
Hey, do you guys know if getting $10,000 stolen from you counts as affecting the rest of your life and then or counts as affecting your day-to-day life? What about going through a 2-year lawsuit? Does that?
Results come back this week. I've got a million things on my fucking mind. And this was bullshit, number one, to do this after I explained to each of you the fucking situation. I don't have
you guys are bullshit for trying to communicate with me. Fuck you guys.
have the capacity
then
to deal with this
some time off. We'll go on without you. I understand you're going on all this stuff. But that doesn't mean that doesn't.
So you see what Steve just offered. Steve just offered to help him. Kyle's like, I'm going through a lot of bullshit. I've got so much on my mind. I don't need to deal with this extra shit. All this other stuff is so much more important than than this bullshit. And Steve's like, okay, then take some time off. We'll do it. We'll take care of it in the meantime. And you can take the time off so you don't have a million things on your plate. And Kyle's immediately like, well, no, I didn't. Hold on, not that direction. No, I can't have that.
Steve, hang on.
Steve, that's not how
do me a
this is
favor.
working.
Do me a favor.
That's not how this is
Do me a
working.
favor, Steve. Hang on.
That's not how this is working.
Hang on, Steve. Steve, do.
Listen, Kyle's like, no. I'm gonna dictate to you what can and cannot work. I'm saying that I'm stressed out and I have a million things on my plate, and fuck you for saying you have a way you can assist me for not having 1,000 things on my plate. This isn't how that's gonna work. You don't get to offer me any help. That's not how that's gonna work. I feel like as soon as you actually listen to what Kyle's saying in that context, you can really tell what the hell is going on. It's pretty obvious.
Do me a favor. Let Kyle go all the way and let him finish first, and then you talk.
I thought it was done.
I'm done.
All right, you're done.
So Rez is being the nice guy and being like, listen, let Kyle go through his rant, let him get out whatever he's gonna say, then we can start the real conversation. But Kyle was done what he was saying. And so Steve started offering a difference and offering extending a hand of help. And so immediately Kyle starts talking again, and then when they call that out, he's like, no, I was done. It's bullshit.
Yeah,
Done? Okay, Steve.
Yeah, I mean,
all right, now Steve, go.
If Kyle's having issues, which I know about, that doesn't affect the show. I mean, I don't know how that has anything to do with me being on the show. I am due 4 days a week plus not with the flat Earth thing. That is how the agreement was. That is how it needs to be. We are 50-50 on this. That's how we started.
Steve, but Steve, listen.
And by the way, that Patreon that Tom put up was my Patreon.
And so you see that Kyle's not listening. Steve is saying, I don't understand what your medical problems have to do with me being not on with you keeping me from being on the show. I do not understand where these things are coming from. I also don't understand why you're even having a problem with the way I run my personal Patreon. And it's almost like Steve's bullshit detector is going off of like, why, in what way are these things related? The answer is, they're not. Kyle just wanted an excuse. But as you can see, tell you what, I'm gonna let chat guess. 1 in the chat if you think Kyle's actually going to address a single thing Steve is saying, or 2 if you think he's gonna go off on something completely unrelated. 3 in the chat if you think he's gonna brag. I'm betting a mix of 2 and 3. I'm gonna wait 30 seconds for you guys to make your bets, place your bets. I'm gonna give Puck a boop because we got a super chat earlier. Boop. He has been booped. Oh, as you might also see behind me there, see that little baskety thing and my little jar? My jar used to have 3 tomato plants in it. Now it's only got 1 tomato plant and the other 2 are in that one. I'm hoping they do well. Oh, boom. Just admitted it was a 50-50 show. Yes, so Steve said that, that was a really good catch. Steve had said we were 50-50 partners, and Kyle says, yes, but 2 and 3, 2.5. Boops don't count if they're not on camera. Well, listen, then they're never gonna get done. That's really... Pup, come here. Come get booped. Come get booped. He doesn't want to. He's looking at me like, is my joke a fucking life or is my joke a fucking life? Is my life a fucking joke? 33, what a clown. Alright, let's go. Let's see what he says. Boops don't count if they're not on camera. Fuck you guys. He doesn't want to get booped. What if I do this? Oh, now you care. Come here. Come here. You gotta be on camera, buddy. Boop. There. He got booped. And you also made me trick him into thinking he was getting a treat. Alright, let's keep going.
I did not want to
Yes.
promote his channel.
Yes.
Okay. So it has nothing to do with anything.
Your Patreon. That's not the issue. That's not the issue. The issue is
So the thing that he told Reds was an issue, right? So he at the beginning of this, we had heard Reds and Kyle's back and forth. And so he had said that the way Steve treated this Patreon is a problem and we can't move forward until we have this conversation about the Patreon. Now when Steve brings up the Patreon saying, I don't understand this, he's like, oh, that's not the issue, that doesn't matter. Could you imagine working with a more infuriating person? Oh my god. Godless Comer for 5 says, I seem to recall Kyle said he couldn't get guests because of Steve. Turned out the great guest he had in mind was G-Man. I don't know. Also, Puck gets another boot, but he legit just ran away. Like, he's not even in the room anymore. He'll probably come back before the end of the stream, so I'll make sure. Just remind me and I'll get him. I'm not giving him the treat. I shuffled around a nerd's bag. Oh, he's back. I'm not gonna give him nerds. But now he's right here. Boop. You can't have any nerds, buddy. I'll get you a treat when we're done. He's looking at me like he's really upset now. Alright, let's keep going.
and you have on the box on your screen where everybody's name is, it says non sequitur right up underneath your window, which is fine. I don't care.
Steve, I think you're using that as an excuse. You guys think Steve is right? You think Kyle's using that as an excuse?
No, I'm using that to prove
It has nothing to do with anything.
I'm using it to prove a point. So there's a different point he's trying to get at. It has nothing to do with the Patreon. It has nothing to do with what I think Kyle is trying to say. Let's see if I can speak jackass. He's trying to say that Steve is behaving in a particular way and he's representing the non sequitur show when he does behave in this manner. And to a degree, yeah, I would agree with that. That's not entirely wrong. If you are part of a brand, you tend to represent that brand. So he's having a problem. He's not explaining it very well, but he's having a problem with... He's not explaining it very well because he has ulterior motives, essentially. But there's a difference between whether or not somebody's behavior is appropriate or not, and whether or not you as a partner can kick somebody else off of show. This is the difference between you need to have a conversation instead of dictating. That's simply how that works. But there's also something that you can do, and it's, if you want Steve to take Non Sequitur Show out of his Patreon, you can do, like, take the heading off of it. You could do that. You could have just asked him to do that. If you said, like, hey, listen, I didn't like the way you handled this, and can we maybe figure out a way to move forward so that doesn't happen again? Steve would probably say, let me guess, if Steve flipped out to the degree that Kyle seems to think he did, and that Kyle says, hey, it's not good for you to look this way, then Steve would probably say, listen, I would do the same thing. Like, I would still kick this guy off because he's not behaving in a way that I think is conducive, and I don't like it, and I don't want it there. But next time I will try to refrain from A, doing it publicly maybe, or B, I won't have a conversation about it. I'm just going to do it. C, he could come up with options and ways to go about that. This is a very, very easy conversation and a very easy fix to a very small problem. Right? So, but keep in mind, Kyle, at this point, had been keeping Steve off for a long time. Like, this was longer than 3 weeks. 3 weeks since Steve's been trying to have this conversation. It hadn't been a week. It had been this week that this Patreon thing had gone awry. So, yeah, it is an excuse. You can try and make the point all you want, but your point doesn't matter when you've been doing the behavior for longer. I would also like to know, is Steve standing by his morals and his ethics and getting frustrated with somebody something you don't want on your brand? Or is stealing $10,000 and being a douchebag worse for your brand? And the thing is that from my understanding, and I think from what I think is a lot of people's understanding now that this information has been out and now that this has been going out for so long, this is the way Kyle has always behaved towards Boole and Steve and probably also Reds. This is the way he was treating them the whole time. And so if this is the way he was treating them the whole time, and this was always what it was like behind the scenes, how long was it going to be before this ended up going public? Well, I guess we know. How long was it going to be before he ruined the reputation of the show? It wasn't Steve that was harming the reputation of the show. It was Kyle, and it was going to be Kyle. Golden Unicorn for 10 says, boop Puck F Kyle. Yes, I would agree with that. Hey, Puck. Boop. And also Jackalope for 2. Boop. He's got his boops. Many Pucko boops. Wait, didn't G-Man get paid in order to appear? Yes, he did, Jackalope. And Rodent for 2 said, you can get toilet paper with anything printed on it. Boop. Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
I'm half a non sequitur. And
the way that you acted. No, you're not. Steve. You show up on a couple nights a week, which is fine. I have no desire. Here's the thing. Here's what people need to understand. Okay, I get bombarded by people on a daily basis.
So do I.
For people that you've pissed off.
That you pissed off too. That I get. Yes, I've inundated with messages.
Who?
Oh my God.
I would bet you money that Steve gets more messages about people that have been pissed off by me than Kyle got, like the number of people, not just like the same people bitching, because Kyle kind of sounds like he's saying there's like maybe 3 people. I get bombarded by messages, not by individuals, right? So I bet you money I've pissed off more people in a way that Steve has gotten messages about me than Kyle ever got about Steve. People, listen.
Got a psychological problem with women.
Listen. Let's but this is a non-issue. This is you have a show that's based on opinions are sacred. If you have a show that's about having difficult conversations, you want people to be bothered. You want people to think. You don't necessarily want people to be like incredibly offended, depending on what you're talking about. You might want some people to be incredibly offended. It's all about being hated by the right people. I don't want people who are Nazis to like me. Why would I want that? Why would I want that for my show? So good, they shouldn't like me. Fantastic, good, be mad, stay mad. Fuck you. So why would Like, people not liking one host or the other host isn't necessarily a problem for the show.
I have a 50. I had a 45.
Show me where.
I will show you them. I had a 45.
Show me where.
I had a $45.
You notice that Kyle is demanding for Steve to show messages that he's getting about this. Steve already did, actually, in this video, if you were watching. He was talking about that, and he showed a couple of them. Steve isn't demanding Kyle show anything. He's like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna take you at your word for that. But Kyle isn't showing anything. Kyle hasn't showed any of these messages. To this day, Kyle has never shown any of these messages. We don't know who these people were or what they were saying. He's just said he gets a lots of messages about all these people who won't come on because of Steve, or all these people who think Steve is a problem or a bad look for the show. We have never ever once seen a single one of those screenshots of any of those people. And so how are we supposed to just take Kyle at his words? How do we know it's not just Casey being a bitch? By Casey, I mean Caitlin Chloe, not King Crocoduck. King Crocoduck's cool peeps. But where? Where are these? This was his whole argument. His whole argument where people don't like Steve. What people? Where? He never once showed a single one of these things. Fuck this guy. Let's keep it up.
Patreon, leave Non-Sequitur to come to my channel because he didn't like the way these news channels going. I literally just got a message 2 seconds ago from somebody saying, right here, I'll screen share.
Okay, now hold on.
Wait.
Does that have anything to do?
So Steve is offering to screen share, and Kyle says, well, now hold on.
He literally just said, I haven't seen you on Non-Sequitur for a while. I've inundated with messages like that.
Sure, Steve, listen, I don't doubt that there are people that don't like the fact that they're really big fans of yours,
yes,
and they don't like the fact that you're not on there
right,
as often as you used to be. That's completely valid.
So here's Kyle admitting that what Steve was saying was true, that he was supposed to be on 4 shows a week. So we have confirmation of both the 50-50 agreement and the frequency in which Steve was supposed to be, or expected to be, on the show, or was to be expected to be available for. And so how do you feel if you're sitting around on call for work, you know you're supposed to go to work, and you're supposed to be, let's say you work for like a drywalling company, and the drywalling company says you need to be available this day, and this day, between this hour, and that's your schedule. We'll call you and tell you where to go. And you get paid for all those hours that you work, no matter what. You have an amount that you're going to get because the company is going to make this much. And then they never call you and tell you where you're supposed to go. And then they get mad at you for not showing up to this place that they never told you were supposed to be at, and then they refuse to pay you even for the jobs you did show up to. That's not how any of this works, let alone Steve isn't a fucking employee. He never was an employee. He's a goddamn owner. He idiot.
Valid, and
Well,
I wouldn't say that there's that would be the other case. The issue is that you and Ocean tried to tell you, tried to explain it to you in the best way possible.
And I told him that. I said, I'm fine. My opinions are my opinions. They're valid. Okay, my opinions. You cannot stop me.
It has nothing to do with your opinions.
Okay, my opinions are sacred. This channel was formed on having opinions that are sacred. That is part of this channel. The fact that you don't like them. No. How you are dealing with it right now. It has nothing to do with how.
Yeah. So Steve has never shied away from confrontation. So he doesn't tend to be terribly contentious most of the time. But if you come sideways at him with nonsense, he's going to say, that's nonsense. And that's never been a problem, and that's always been the way Steve has been. Steve was like that for the whole year up until this point. It's only a problem now because Kyle's looking for excuses to kick him out.
I'm doing my Patreons and my people that watch my show and my stuff are not having issues with it. They're having issues with the fact that you seem to be having one-sided, monolateral everything and cutting me out behind my back and not being forthright with me about it is a little disingenuous.
So you notice that Steve still hasn't accused Kyle of anything yet. He said that people are messaging me because to the outside it seems to them that this is the way you're treating me. And so to say that those things, in my opinion, don't matter seems a bit disingenuous. And that's fair. If you're setting your, essentially Steve and the people outside have recognized, like the viewers have recognized Kyle's behavior. It was only a matter of time, but that the way Kyle was treating Steve and Boole out, like, in the background, started seeping out to the public. You can't hide contempt like that. And that's what it is. It's straight up contempt. Jackalope Herdmaster for 5 says, no one can please everyone. Therefore, there will always be someone who hates somebody. Bad logic to kick a partner. Yes, you can't kick a partner anyway, but also correct. It doesn't work like that. It simply just doesn't. Boop. He's like, is my life a joke to you? Why are you like this? Poor Buck. Let's keep going.
Listen,
That's
you're
what
not
we're
being cut
having issues
out.
about.
And if I wanted to,
You're not being cut out. So even though you're not providing financials for months, and you're straight up said that you haven't been talking to him, and that you haven't talked to him or gotten back to him in 3 weeks, and you admitted that he's been on less shows, you're not being cut out. He said, you are not being cut out. The internet determined that was a lie.
to cut you out, I would have done it a long time ago. I've done
You haven't
everything
messaged me
that
back.
I would have done it a long time ago. I just didn't think I could get away with it. Oh no! This is the same thing he tried to do in the deposition when he said, "Oh yeah, of course I would steal that money," or whatever it was. "Oh yeah, of course I would fake screenshots." It's the same thing. "Oh well, I would have done it a long time ago." Posturing.
In 3 weeks. The only thing you've messaged me. Wait, crowd. The only thing you messaged me in 3 weeks is about your biopsy.
You notice how they let Kyle speak, but Kyle has refused to let Steve finish a single goddamn sentence in this entire thing so far without saying something. He will not let Steve finish because he has to have a contention with every single thing Steve is saying, because he's got audience right now. Keep in mind, he's got Reds and Bueller there. So even though he kind of thinks he can already swing it, he's trying to manipulate and control the conversation. He's trying to be dominating here, but people aren't backing down. Steve's not backing down. Bull and Reds haven't even said anything yet, except for Reds being like, "Let Kyle finish." "Oh, I was done." "Okay, well, go ahead, Steve." And now Kyle is just trying to steamroll over top of everything Steve is saying. He's not listening. So you have 3 people trying to communicate, 1 person trying to dodge the conversation, and now that they're there, refusing to listen, even though he's trying to say that he has all this stuff that he needs to talk to Steve about. He's bullshitting.
You just let me speak to that point.
Can I get in?
Hold on 1 second, Reds. I have done. If I wanted to cut you out, if that was the way that I wanted to do things, I would have done it a long time ago. That's not.
So you realize that by saying that, he's implying that he doesn't want to and isn't going to cut him out in the future, even though that's literally what he's done. He's already taken Steve off of... Keep in mind, Steve has no access to any financials. He doesn't have any access to the channel anymore because he already kicked him out of that. He's actually actively already kicked Steve out, and now he's saying, if I was going to kick you out, I'd have already done it, implying that I wouldn't do it, or I'm not going to do that. He's saying, I'm not going to do this thing I've already done. What a shit. What a fucking Trigglypuff's in the chat. It's, the only answer is Trigglypuff.
The way that I want to do things.
Well, it
I
sure
have done
seems like it.
literally everything that
Steve?
I can think of to do to keep the peace with
You can't
everyone
keep the
that you're
peace with everybody.
short-circuiting out there.
All the people that Steve is shortchanging, Kyle's trying to keep the peace with them. Why? You've got people that are going after, like, actively going after your partner, and you're trying to mitigate with people that you're saying are assholes? Why would you try to mitigate with people who aren't interested in dealing with each other? If these people aren't interested in dealing with Steve, and Steve isn't interested in trying to deal with these people, why are you trying to force them to work together? That's absurd. You understand how ridiculous that is. And not only that, it's also not your place. Either you make up your mind, either it's none of your business and is only Steve's business, or you work together about it. You don't get to decide and dictate and force people to work together. That's just not how it works. It's just going to end poorly for you, as we found out. This is them trying to reach out to you. Like I said at the very beginning, this is a last-ditch effort, and everybody in this chat knows it. By that, I mean, like, the chat that's happening, that we're watching. I mean, probably you guys in the chat also got that, but, you know.
Kyle, we've been trying to explain this to you, and you're not listening. You cannot make everybody happy.
No, Steve.
You cannot do it.
Well, listen, this is the way that it is.
I don't get along with the people you got.
It's just the way that it is. You can't make everybody happy. But it's just the way that it is that I'm trying to make everybody happy. What? Fucking what? Everything Kyle is saying is just... There's a word for it. It's not asinine. It's... What's the word? There's... Godless scummer Kyle, I'm not cutting you out 30 minutes before he cuts Steve out. Even entirely, even further than he already had. There's a word for what he's... essentially everything he's saying, he's waffling, I think is the word I'm looking for. He's waffling back and forth, and he's very contrarian. It's... You can't make everybody happy. Oh, but that's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. I'm just telling you how it is. Obfuscating? Yeah, he's definitely obfuscating. There's... When you're like, oh, well, I'm never gonna do that thing that I already did to you, and... Preposterous? Yeah, that's also a good word. I don't know. I don't know what... I almost need a counter. I almost needed to put a counter that I could hit that would come up every time Kyle said something that either... He's not addressing the issues. He's not listening. He's trying to tell other people how it is, and that basically there's only one way to do things, right? So he's like, I'm trying to keep the peace with all the people you've pissed off, as if it's all Steve's responsibility and he's just going around behind cleaning up Steve's messes. As somebody who's been working with Steve for over a year now, you don't need to. Steve's not a child. If you don't want to deal with some nonsense Steve is doing, you don't have to. Hell, I'm Steve's partner on a show on Steve's channel. You'd think if anybody had to deal with people who hate Steve's nonsense, it would be me. And you know what? I do deal with them. You know what I don't try to do? Make peace with assholes. I've never once had to make peace for Steve. If somebody is a reasonable person that Steve wants to get along with, he'll get along with them and it won't be an issue. If the person is an asshole and Steve doesn't want to get along with them, it's sure as hell not my place to force them to get along. See, Puck knows this is bullshit. Come here. Come here. Come here. It's not so hard. It's so hard, Puck. I know. I've never once had to do this. Misdirecting is a good word. He's dodging the questions. Yeah, you guys are right. You guys are on point. It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things rolled up into bullshit. It's pretty much just bullshit. You better not knock over that thing. I'm gonna be very upset with you if you do. Thank you. Good boy. I almost feel like I should grab a beer. Oh, Puck woke up the kitty. I don't... Burden shifting, almost, yeah. It's very fallacious, I can give you that. It's definitely a very... Puck's in the chat! Puck's in the chat! It is very fallacious. It's very much like smokescreen. It's all smokescreen. He's just making shit up on the fly, whatever works to... He's not thinking ahead, because he's not being honest and he's not that good at this. And so he's basically like, I'm going to say whatever counters whatever Steve is saying at the time, instead of actually thinking about what he's saying in that context and how that follows through. So if he says that, if Steve says, if Kyle says that, oh, hey, I'm trying to play mediator in the background so because nobody wants to work with you, and Steve says, well, you can't please everybody, and Kyle says, well, that's just how it is. So what, you're going to mediate between everybody all of the time, even if you don't want to work with them? Who mediates for you? Who decides who is worth doing what for? All you? You're in a partnership. Stop trying to force people who are... Stop. Why are you working with assholes? The answer is that Kyle's just working with assholes because he's an asshole. Stop being an asshole.
Hang on. I don't get along with the people you brought in that you're friends. They're not my friends. I don't get along with them. That was your choice to involve them in non sequitur, not mine.
Yep, that makes that Kyle's responsibility. So if Kyle's friends, who Steve didn't consent to them being there, if Kyle's friends have a problem with Steve, that's Kyle's responsibility. It's his responsibility to keep them in line as to what is appropriate with him and his partner. Because the partnership around the show is what matters here, and the show is what matters here. So if you bring on a friend onto your show, and that friend doesn't like your partner so much that they start causing internal strife, they're the problem. But you're here giving shit to Steve, who didn't do you made the workplace uncomfortable, Kyle. You brought people in, not fucking who mediates the mediator. Who watches the watchers? That's why you have people around you that can check your shit. And right now, Kyle's getting his shit checked, and he's just not having any of it. He's just like, no, my shit doesn't matter. Anything that's my shit is actually Steve's fault. It's Steve's fault that my friends don't like him. He should behave in the way I tell him to, so that my friends will like him, so that my show can go down the drain, because my show is trash without Steve, as we learned. Glorious.
I had no say on that. You involved them, which involved more drama. But that was your choice, and I let you make it. Okay, but that has
So now Kyle's saying that, oh, all these people won't work with you. All these people are mad and they don't want to work with you. And Steve's like, these people don't like me. It's your responsibility because you brought them on. It's not my fault that you have to deal with them on their terms, not with me. I was here first, basically. It's like, you decided on your own to bring on these people that you know I don't get along with, and now it's causing drama. And so Kyle's saying, but that doesn't matter. That's not the point. What do you mean it's not the point? That's what you brought. This is the third time he's done that. Oh, here's this issue. Well, here's a response to this issue. Well, that's not the point. Well, what the fuck is the goddamn point then, asshole? I wouldn't kick you out. I would never do that. If I were going to do that, I would do that beforehand. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
nothing to do with how the show is going. Has absolutely nothing with that. Yes,
Steve.
Go ahead.
Steve. Okay, let me try to talk to both of you. Just this is me looking from the outside in. I understand that there was this thing where I am non sequitur and I am part of you guys. I am not. I do not consider myself a core part of non sequitur. I've shown up on a few shows. That's it. So let me see.
So where that comes from is essentially Reds helped build the channel. Not as in like he necessarily had any say about the structure of the way the channel ran, but his presence helped drive numbers and viewership to the show to help it grow. And so some of his debates and some of his stuff where he's present is some of the higher viewed things, especially at this point in time. Flat Earth was a really big thing on Non Sequitur show. Kyle way oversaturated it, that's for sure. It's taken a while for the Flat Earth community to kind of recover from that oversaturation. I think without Fight the Flat Earth, I do not think that debunking Flat Earthers would have survived Kyle way oversaturating that. And so what Reds is trying to say is that, listen, he's part of the community and he helped build the channel, but he's not a host. He's not a structural component, essentially, is what he's saying. He's part of the heart of it, but it's not his job. He has his own channel. He has his own stuff that he does. So he definitely helps support, but he's not a host. He's not a structural piece. As far as he's concerned, at least. Whether you agree or disagree or whether or not he's changed his mind on that, I don't know. You have to talk to him about it. So, if you see Reds go live anytime soon, be sure to type in "Hi Reds."
Let me try, Kyle. Give me this opportunity.
Kyle's already rolling his eyes. He doesn't want to listen to anybody.
I'm asking you as a friend, okay? What I saw over and over and over again is the non sequitur slowly shift in a different direction. Whenever Steve McRae has come on to the show, a lot of people are genuinely happy to see him.
Yes.
There are a few people who
No
are
doubt.
not. Hang on. There are a few people that problems with Steve McRae. I accept that. Do I also accept that he can be kind of standoffish at times? Oh.
Jackalope, in your own words, you blew your load on Flat Earth. yeah, Kyle blew his load. Also, Reds is the Newman to non-sex Seinfeld and George. I like that. Kyle was doing two and sometimes 3 Flat Earth streams every Saturday. Talk about blowing your load on Flat Earth. Yeah, it was oversaturated. Sorry, I'll clip that back a little bit. I just wanted to get some of the chat's comments in there because there's...
Sequitur slowly shift in a different direction. Whenever Steve McRae has come on to the show, a lot of people are genuinely happy to see him.
Yes.
There are a few people who
No
are
doubt.
not. Hang on. There are a few people that problems with Steve McRae. I accept that. Do I also accept that he can be kind of standoffish at times? Oh,
It's not
fucking
a
absolutely.
We all agree with this.
Then let me talk. So if we all agree, then this should be music to your ears. What I'm seeing though is that there is a fundamental disconnect between this 50-50 that was supposed to be happening.
Yes.
Kyle, as of right now, you have taken control. You said, Steve, if I wanted to cut you out, I would have done it long ago.
Right.
You have 100% control already. But
Oh my god, Red says exactly the thing that I did. Well, it's been a while since I watched this. Oh my god. He's just like, you've already done the cutting out thing that you said that you would have already done. So, okay, yeah. And Kyle's like, yes. So you've already cut him out then. But you said you wouldn't do that. Oh my god. Can anybody talk out of their mouth through 2 sides any more than this fucking con artist? Holy shit, dude. Like, are you even trying to could you I'm so glad this was recorded and we get to see it, and especially watching it now after as long as it's been. Like, this is absolutely fucking absurd. It's absurd. I'm actually pretty impressed and glad that this is a hard conversation to have, especially with somebody like Kyle and behaving the way he is, because they don't know what's going on. They don't know what's going to happen. They're trying their best to maintain relations and trying to communicate and reaching a hand out to help him. But Kyle already knows what's going on. Kyle's the only one in this in the chat room that we're watching that knows exactly what's happening. So he's trying to control and manipulate and gaslight and lie, and he's trying the whole shebang, obfuscate everything. And how impressive is it that nobody in this call is buying it? They're catching him as he's doing it, and none of this is flying with any of them. It's just not working. And I gotta give props. I gotta give props to everybody in that call. Like, damn, except Kyle. Fuck that guy.
Okay.
What the original agreement was, from what I heard, is that it was supposed to be 50-50. You both would work equal amounts to make sure that you would not be so overworked. And if there's shit on your plate that you can't deal with, I will be more than happy to take your place alongside Steve McRae and host a non sequitur. I would actually feel honored doing that. Kyle, if there is too much on your plate right now and you need some time off, give it to us. Let us do tonight's show, and let me make you fucking proud.
Let me say one thing before you do.
So essentially they're offering, like, hey, listen, Kyle, you said you had this problem, this problem, this problem. Let us take your burden. Let us help you, and let us run the show. You can take the night off, and you'll make money from the show, and everything will be great. We'll have a great time, and the show will go on. And then, of course, I'm sure the reasonable thing for Kyle to do is like, you know what, I am really stressed out. I've been really exhausted lately. Maybe I've overstepped. I'll let you guys handle it for now. We can have another conversation about this tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be more productive and we can figure out where to go. I'll give Steve back all of the permissions right now and we can move forward. That's what would have happened if Kyle wasn't a piece of shit and was actually somebody who was honest and trustworthy. Go figure.
Let me say one thing before you do. Look at Kyle. I started this particular channel and I turned it over to you. I gave you primary. I started the Twitter. You took that over. I have no access to the Patreon. I have no access.
Oh, no, you didn't. I started the Twitter. It's still associated with
So you notice how he doesn't contend. He's only contending the Twitter. He's not contending the show, because that was a contention in the lawsuit.
my
cares who
email
started
address.
who?
Yeah, and that's
Okay,
neither here nor there. Here's the thing.
I'll give to you. Okay,
Here's the thing.
hang on, let me finish it because this is important. I have no access to any
Sure.
financials. Especially from 2007, which I'm going to need because I'm flying somebody out here. Although that mostly is paid for, we still have hotels. You've not provided me a single bit of data on
And
any.
when you're
of
ready, for that,
So you notice that Steve isn't asking for the money. He's saying, you haven't provided me a single bit of data on this. You haven't sent me the money, and you haven't sent me any data. And Kyle's saying, well, when you're ready for that, they've been asking for that data for months. We're well aware of this. So if you've been asking for this data for months, and he's saying, well, whenever you're ready for it, as if somebody has been saying they don't want data when they've been asking for data for months, what the fuck?
But-
all of that
but-
is ready for you, just like I told
but-
you.
And I trust you with the handshake. That's
If all of that stuff was ready, just like he said, he could send it over right now. If all of that was ready, why hadn't he sent that data? What does he need? Does Steve need to be sitting down? Does he need to check his heart because he's going to be so freaked out by how much money it is? Is that the concern? Like, what is you're saying? You seem to be implying that you're concerned for Steve, that he let me know when you're ready because I've got it all for you. He's been asking for it. What do you mean let him know when you're ready? What is your concern here? The answer is nothing. Your concern is nonsense. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit.
our thing, right? But I also trust you to keep
Yes,
your word to me
and-
that I'm due 4 shows a week
I would-
plus the flat earth. That was our agreement. I expect you to honor that. That is our agreement, Kyle. I expect you to honor it.
Listen, I'm gonna explain something to you. Okay, the reason that I used that term that I could that if I wanted to cut Steve out, I would, is because for a very simple reason, and that is because if we look at the situation without the feelings of friendship or things that are involved that sort of cloud that up.
So he's saying if we look at this objectively. It's a very long-winded way of saying that, but if he wants us, let's take a step back and look at this objectively. Does he realize that Steve is the one granting him all of the charity? That he's like, listen, I'm going to assume that you're being honest. I'm going to assume this. I'm going to assume that. If you take out all of the emotion and all of the charity out of this, and you just look at this objectively, Kyle has been fucking over his friends for months. If not a year at this point. He's been fucking them over. He's been treating them like trash. And so they're trying to deal with him and trying to talk to him and trying to work around his emotions and how he feels about it. They are objectively putting in an effort, and Kyle is objectively trying to fuck them over as much as possible. Kyle's being a greedy fuck, and they're trying to work around this greedy fuck. That's the objective point here. If you're going to look at this objectively. If you take everything out of this, this is not a good fucking look for Kyle.
Non sequitur in every aspect is me.
Now, but you just
Hey! If you take out all the emotion and all the heart of the show, I am non sequitur. Listen, if you were going to take out everything, Boole is non sequitur. If you're going to take out all the friendships, that show wouldn't run without him. At this point. And trying to run the show when it comes without him is going to be a thing. It'll be it's not easy. But we'll do so. We'll do what we need to do to honor everything that he had spent so much time working on, and something that he had dedicated so much of his life towards. And that will be a standing thing, and Steve and I will carry that on. But it'll be without Kyle. It'll be without Kyle, that's for sure. Because surprise, surprise, nobody needs you.
because you've made it about you. You have gone out of your way
No,
Kyle. You have made it about you. Your personality has taken
That
over
was
the
a
show.
natural. Well, maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the case. But this
That's
is where
not
we
how
are
it's
now.
supposed to be.
This is where we are now.
Maybe that's the case, but this is where we are now. Then deal with it and fix it. If that's where you are, and that's not where you're supposed to be, which he seems to be agreeing to. That's not where we started. That wasn't the goal, but that's where we are now. And your response is to just, well, let's just keep it that way because I'm the best. That's not you. This is not the way to solve this problem. But as we know, he's not trying to solve the problem. He's trying to get rid of Steve. Shocker. Fucking shocker.
Why did you do that?
Just let me explain. Let me explain. The feel of the show.
So I'm just gonna answer chat real quick. Yeah, Puck is doing fine. He's just sitting in here whining at me because he didn't get a treat. Because I crinkled a bag and now he's mad. All right. I'll get Puck a treat. Let's let it play for a little bit. Let's see what they have to say, and I'll stop pausing and we can listen to Kyle make a complete dipshit out of himself as he says that he is non sequitur and he's the only one that matters. Me. Because non sequitur definitely wasn't a community. And I will get Puck a treat because he's being a whiny little baby boy.
Your personality is taking over the show.
Well, maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the case. But this is where we are now.
Supposed to be.
This is where we are now.
Why did you do that?
Just let me explain. Let me explain. The feel of the show, the style of the show, the layouts, the music, every single detail that goes into this show, I make sure that it's done painstakingly and to a
That's why we teamed up beginning, because that was your forte.
Right. But what I'm saying is you are coming on let's say we go the 4 days a week thing. You show up and like I said, I have no interest in cutting you out, but you show up, you do your show, and then that's it.
What have you asked? Dude, I have provided the guests. I had dozens. I'll also give you some emails of people that have said Kyle's not responded to me. I brought many guests. Most of the initial guests were all mine because of the people I knew. Wait, let me finish on this because this is critical here, Kyle. So we combined our forces together, right? If you wanted to start doing stuff with Mr. Atheist and KC and Godless, start a different channel for that. Start your own channel, do your own form, and let this channel be non sequitur the way it was. Do it with us. We do it 4 or 5 days a week.
We're not going back. Number one, we're not going back.
Well, I don't care whether we go back or not. That's really not my concern. All I get is all I know is
where we are now.
All I know is this: I'm due 4 days a week plus a flat Earth thing every so often, and half the funds, and then we got to figure out how to.
So here you see it, right? It went in a direction nobody wanted anything to go in, except Kyle. And now that it's gone in that direction, the natural direction, Kyle doesn't want to go back. Kyle wants it to be this way. This is what he intended. Simple as that. This 2-year lawsuit is what Kyle wanted. He wanted to go in this direction. What possesses somebody to be like this? What in the world made him think that this was a good idea? And I'd be willing to bet 3 things. Ego, small data points, confirmation bias essentially, and some snakes, some people in your ear that are boosting your ego. If you have a bad habit of like being of having an overinflated ego, or you struggle with that it's easy for you to have an overly inflated ego, then having people that rub you out regularly over shit that you ought not to be rubbed out for and don't have people checking you, you're going to have a bad time and your things will not go in your favor. It's not that complicated. But you kind of get where Kyle's values lied, right? Visual. He cared about the presentation. He cared about how the show looked. He didn't care about the content. But what made Non Sequitur show so good and so interesting was the content. You can have a show that looks fantastic or has all these bells and whistles, and it can be complete trash because nobody is interested in the actual content. Hoskall said for 10, give Puck a second treat after the boop. Boop. Glad I brought more than one treat. Otherwise, I would be in trouble. But I will give him a treat. Here you go, bud. He cared about how people saw him, and he thought that Steve made him look bad. And the answer is that Steve does make Kyle look bad. Simple as that. Steve makes Kyle look bad because Steve's not a shithead. Steve makes Kyle look bad because Steve is smarter than Kyle. Kyle's not that bright, as you can tell. Steve makes Kyle look bad because of his ethics and his consistency. That's why Kyle felt threatened. Because Kyle knows he's not needed. At the end of the day, when Non Sequitur comes back, or Caffeine Corner goes the direction it is, I don't need to be there. I'm the easily replaceable one on that show. Does that mean I don't bring my own value to the show? Of course not. But I'm a lot easier to replace than Steve is. Steve has credentials that I don't have. And by that I mean he's written, he's in contact with a lot of people, he's very friendly with people who are very good guests and very good to have on the show. I don't bring any of that to the table. And so when you overvalue what you do bring to the table and then alienate and start thinking that, well, I bring this to the table so I'm better than this other person, you've lost the plot. I still bring good things to the table. I bring an entertainment value. I bring a understanding. I bring a different perspective. I bring contention sometimes. I bring my own stuff to the table. The only thing Kyle is offering at this point is I bring graphics. You got a shit personality, so you're not bringing that. So, like, what do you got? Golden Unicorn for 20 says, Steve gave Kyle a chance to reform with the background he had, and he blew it for his ego and vanity. Yep. A bad show with great production value is just a polished turd. Correct. I think Kyle felt he was on his way to low-key celebrity status, like maybe he'd become a host of Atheist Experience or would go to conventions to discuss issues. You know, Mike makes a good point with that, but the thing is, this Non Sequitur show Fallout didn't have to affect that. Non Sequitur could have blown up and Kyle could still be doing Tastecraft. Non Sequitur show could have blown up and Kyle still could have been working on the Atheist Experience. But he's not. I wonder why. Why do you think that might be? Why do you think that maybe people didn't want to work with Kyle when this happened? People still want to work with Steve. People still want to work with Reds. People were still working with Boole. And yeah, what about Boole? Boole makes Kyle look like complete trash. Essentially, there's no... You go ask Caitlin Chloe. She tweeted that out relatively recently. It's a shame that Tastecraft couldn't get off the ground. A show completely unrelated to Non Sequitur show couldn't get off the ground. Why was that? Why are you not working with Kyle right now, doing a show? You tell me. You tell me. Chesh's 95% of Caffeine Corner. Fuck, where'd you go? Boop. That counts as being on camera. Three people interviewed Kyle, at least. Those, though, they didn't go well, and because, well, I can talk about that another time, but because they decided Kyle was a snake. Was Kyle the only snake, though? If you remember the people that were showing up on that show and around that and had problems with Steve, all same kind of shit. Non Sequitur was gaining a large following before he fucked up. Yeah, to be fair, Kyle might have been correct. Kyle may have been on his way to like pseudo YouTube celebrity status if he didn't fuck it up. Let's keep going.
Would you be comfortable?
No.
Would you be comfortable giving Steve McRae half of the deal?
I want to hear what Kyle's saying this. This was the agreement from day one. You want to change that agreement somehow?
We're gonna change that agreement.
What do you think is?
Look, I'm eating a cookie. Damn it. Sorry, I couldn't help it. You guys catch that? This was our agreement from day one. Are you going to change that? Yes, we're going to change that. So he agrees that all of the deal was there. The agreement was made, and now he wants to change it. I have altered the deal. Pray I do not alter it further. So the deal was there. And this is the thing. This video is from June 13th, 2019, with Kyle admitting the agreement and the partnership and the 50-50, the whole shebang. How long have people been going off giving around false nonsense information? This was from Kyle's own mouth. Feels fucking bad, man.
What's your correct change there, Kyle?
I'm in the middle right now of I think that this is the way that this is my vision of how I think this should be. I think that you should.
This is Kyle's vision. Let's hear. What do you guys think Kyle's vision is going to be for Non Sequitur Show? Is it the fucking complete toilet that he made it into? I feel like it probably isn't.
Should be involved on the shows that absolutely speak to your forte and your expertise. The science stuff, anytime, we do things that deal.
So, Steve, you should come on when it's your expertise and what you're good at, which is the science stuff. You mean the shit that made the show good? The shit that people wanted to watch? You went blind? There's gonna be less of the shit that people wanted to watch and sub to the channel for? Is that your goal? That'll go well? Of course it will go well.
With science, philosophy, those sort of things. The things that you...
Philosophy.
So, remember, Kyle was bitching about people complaining about philosophy, like the Patreon that was talking about philosophy and people arguing with Steve about philosophy and stuff on Twitter and how contentious Steve was. And now he's here telling Steve that he wants him to talk about philosophy. Kyle literally doesn't know what's coming out of his mouth when he says it. The dude's got a memory of a goddamn goldfish. Like, holy shit.
Because in the grand scheme of things, if you take a step back, if there's a show about something stupid that you're not that into.
So he's agreeing that it's a show about something stupid. Why don't you just have a show that's not about something stupid, Kyle? That's a dumbass.
I mean, what's the point
I'm not
of just
disagreeing
being
with that, but I have
being
brought
on
those
there,
people to
just
the
being
table.
there?
I just have Jeff, Dr. Jeff Zersky on my show. He's more than welcome to come
Which
on
is
Non
fine.
Sequitur Show. But
Which is fine.
But that's still, my name isn't half to Non Sequitur. I am half the Non Sequitur Show as co-host. I am 50% of that. Are you trying to cut me out of the funding too?
No. Well, no, not up until the
No. Well, no. Ooh.
The shift started where I started doing everything.
So, no. Well, not until the shift started where I started taking on the work. Without your consent, by the way. Oh. So you changed things before you agreed or spoke to your partner about it and just started forcibly changing things.
Oh, so
in
wait a minute
January.
here. So now there's a shift, and now you think that I'd earn less? So I helped build this
obviously,
channel.
yeah, because-
Obviously, yeah. So I helped
Yes,
build.
Steve.
I helped build this
Steve,
channel
yes.
from day one,
You're-
and now you're trying to
Steve,
cut me down
if-
on the finances.
Hang
What
on,
are you
hang on,
talking
hang on,
about,
hang
Kyle?
on, hang on.
We
Kyle,
said from
Kyle,
day
Steve,
one this
Kyle,
was
Steve,
50%.
Kyle, Steve, hang on.
50%, no matter how it went.
You
Steve.
can look at how. You can
Steve,
look at.
Kyle,
It's not going to be
Steve,
Steve
Kyle,
when you show up for 3 days a week, and
That's
the only
because
thing
you
do.
don't
You're not gonna
schedule
get
anymore. You
50%.
So if Kyle's in charge of the scheduling, which Kyle said he was doing, because that's part of all of the work he's doing, and then Steve expects to be there 4 out of 7 days, and then only gets scheduled for 3, and then Kyle tries to use his scheduling to say that Steve's not doing as much work and therefore shouldn't get paid. That's not how that works. You don't get to do that. That's just not how it's just not how a partnership works. You don't get to say, well, I'm not scheduling you unilaterally, and then say, well, you're not showing up, so you're not picking up your end of the bargain. You didn't let him put up his end of the bargain. You don't, and then just use it. You caused the problem, and you're using that problem to justify taking it out on somebody else so you can get rid of them. You're the one with the problem, asshole. If anybody should be cut out, it's you for causing all the drama and all the problems in the first place. It's not Steve causing these problems. It's Kyle bringing in additional people. It's Kyle making unilateral decisions. It's Kyle causing these schedule conflicts. Kyle is the one responsible for all of this shit. From the get-go. Anybody who says that Reds or Boole or Steve has any hand in this at all is completely misrepresenting the situation. And like I said, this video has been out since June of 2019, last decade. Everybody has known since 2019. Anybody who's been saying anything else for either this length of time or beyond this point in time is bullshitting you.
Don't give me the link.
That's just not the way.
That's because of you, Kyle, not me. I'm ready every day.
That's not the way it's going to be. Steve, just because you're available and I'm the one doing the scheduling because I won't let anybody else do anything, I mean, there's nothing I can do. It's just not the way it's going to be. You're just not going to get on the show. And so you're not coming on the show, so I got to kick you out. Nonsense. This is like absolute nonsense.
I'm sorry.
Wait. I was ready for the last time we
sorry.
had a show, and I didn't know it got canceled 50 minutes before the show.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Kyle, you don't want to go down this route. Trust me. We started from day one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go down the route.
Hang on, Steve, Kyle, hear me the fuck out.
Yes, please, Reds, because now he's talking about 50% going down less than that.
Steve,
You're not 50% anymore.
please hear.
You're not 50% anymore. So they were 50%, and you've already agreed and said that you unilaterally sent your partner off to go fuck himself on your own. You don't get to make that decision. And as we'll go into, because this is just the prequel, since we're going to look at all the legal documentation, let's see what Kyle says. Because this, to me, this video is the quintessential Kyle fucked himself. This is where there were times where this was the last straw. Things could have been fixed up until this point. After this point, there was no going back. Kyle just said, this is the route I'm going to take. This is what I'm doing. You're not 50% anymore.
Hear me the fuck out. All right, Kyle.
Yes.
This is me talking to you. If you
I can hear
take over, if you take over most of the work without telling Steve about anything, you can't complain that you're being overburdened at this point.
And you can't take the
Correct.
You've taken every penny that you.
He just said I wasn't making a complaint. The first thing he came in was to complain that he had a million things on the table. The left side of Kyle's brain is not talking to the right side of Kyle's brain.
But use for rent and for flights, and I've not seen a dime of it. And now you want to cut me out of that?
Are you ready for your money, Steve? Are you ready for your money?
Steve.
No, I want.
Are you ready for your money, Steve? No, of course he's not. He needs the data, dipshit. Kyle is trying to strong arm Steve into taking whatever money Kyle decides to give him, if any, because he needs the books. Steve doesn't have any of the financial information. Kyle has all the financial information. So he's trying to strong arm Steve into accepting whatever shekels he decides to give him.
No, I want the deal that we agreed with.
The deal.
My deal was that this channel was going to be built up and have revenue for my daughter, Kyle. That I was going to have something in this channel in perpetuity.
It's not going to go into perpetuity. No, not into perpetuity.
It was always supposed to be in perpetuity, Kyle. How dare you? If we built this together, I suggested the damn YouTube channel.
I'm sorry.
You're stealing from me, Kyle. You're fucking stealing from me. If you.
Steve got mad. No doubts. He deserves to be. Look how nonchalant Kyle is. He knows. Kyle knows damn well what's going on.
Go down this route.
Okay.
And I will make sure people know you're stealing from me.
This is the route we're going.
I mean, Steve did make sure that everybody knew Kyle stole from him. Give him that much. Steve has been right to his word the whole time. You don't want to go down this route, Kyle. If you steal from me, I'm going to make sure everybody knows it. Where's the lie?
Going to go down. So, I mean, just.
Are you kidding me, Kyle? Do you really want to tell
So Kyle at this point is agreeing that he is stealing from Steve and that he's saying that, yes, this is the route we're going to go down. You can go ahead and tell everybody you're stealing from me. Kyle's agreeing.
People, you're stealing from me.
I
help
mean,
build
if
this
that's the way
channel.
that people are going to look at it, if that's the way people are going to look at it,
I
then
don't want
that's-
people to look at
totally
that.
I don't want
Yeah.
to either.
So, if that's the way people are going to look at it, what do you guys think? Like, we guess we get to look at it. Do you think that Kyle's bluffing here, that people might not look at it as if he's stealing? I don't know if there's anybody who hasn't admitted to that. I mean, there's a couple of people who have shut the fuck up about saying that Steve was going to get his money. They never apologized for that. They never took that, like, really took that back. They never, like, actually owned up to their responsibility and what had gone on when it came to, like, banning people on the channel, when it came to backing Kyle, when it came to assisting him. So, but I don't know if there's anybody who says that Kyle didn't straight up steal from Steve at this point.
I don't want to corrupt your reputation, Kyle.
Steve, I'm asking as a friend right now, and I'm
Yes, go
asking you,
ahead.
Kyle, as a friend right now. Both of you guys,
I know Kyle's
please
done a lot of
shut the
stuff you may
fuck
want to
up
think
for-
about.
Can you hear the irritation in Red's voice? Reds is trying so hard to maintain conversation when Kyle is not trying to have a conversation. Kyle is trying to tell everybody how it's going to be. There's nothing Steve can say in this call. It doesn't matter what Steve says in this call whatsoever. Kyle has made up his mind long ago, and he's only just getting caught on it now. You'll notice Boole hasn't said a damn word. And Reds is trying his best to be like, trying to help Steve calm down because they all know where this is going. Kyle has made his decision, he's made it clear. Steve is venting his frustration at the person who is frustrating him, which is completely fair, and he's 100% in the right here. And Kyle is trying to deflect. Kyle is trying to make it out that, well, Steve, if you're behaving this way, this is your fault. It's not how it works. He's trying to say that, no, Steve, that's not how it works, that's not how it's going to work. You don't get to make any decisions on this 50-50 show that you own. And Reds is doing his best to be like, Steve, please, we're trying to... He's trying. A for effort, Reds. A for effort, bruh.
For a second. Just stop.
Go ahead.
Oh, I have.
Just stop.
I have.
Just stop. Just fucking stop, guys. Okay? This is honestly tearing me up inside, and it would be nice to know that both of you actually give a shit about my opinion.
I
here.
do.
All right? What? Okay. All right, good. Then there should be no problem with shutting the fuck up for half a second. Okay? Kyle, I'm going to talk to you, and then Steve, I'm going to...
Can we get an F in the chat for Steve's glasses that are missing a thing and his broken-ass headset? Duct tape on the side? Oh, wait. Is that July 11th in Kyle's background? If that's the right date, this happened on my birthday. Happy birthday to me.
rip you a new one as well. That way it's even on both sides. Kyle, you have gone behind Steve's back. You have not been forward with what he's doing, and you have taken control of the non sequitur, and that includes taking over most of the work. When you're overworked because of that, and then you start basically making financial decisions based off that, that is indeed a dick move. Steve, for you, not being forward with Kyle as well, because believe it or not, you weren't forward with him as well. I understand you've been trying to get in contact with them, but the fact is it didn't have to go that far. It didn't.
I'm going to go ahead and say that Rez is reaching because he's trying to maintain conversation. He's trying to seem even-handed towards both people, but I think his argument towards Steve doesn't really follow. I think he's trying, but I don't think... I think he's mostly just trying to seem neutral to Kyle. He's trying to cater to Kyle right now to make Kyle stay and have a conversation and try to open up conversation. I don't think it's gonna work, but I mean, I guess we know it didn't work.
Have to go to the point where Kyle felt like he was being pushed away. That is bullshit, and it should never have gotten that far.
But I
So
wasn't
yes, I
pushing
do
away. I was
sympathize
trying to
with
get a
Kyle
hold
and
of
that.
him. He was
Hang on. I said it didn't need to go that far where it felt as though Kyle had that only resource. And when it came to this, the real person that I see having a big fucking problem here is Bullinator as well. Because keep this in mind that Bullinator has not been updated on what the fuck's going on. Sometimes only updated, you know, an hour out, that there's 2 fucking shows going on in the exact same day. There needs to be better scheduling with Billionaire, because remember, there's a third person on this wheel. Like it or not for both of you, you both, and actually you 3, made the non sequitur what it is today.
And I wanted to give
non sequitur is
Billionaire
you 3.
10%.
You guys are the Steve. I swear to
Sorry,
fucking
go
God,
ahead.
shut the fuck up.
Sorry.
You 3 made this ship what it is right now. Without the 3 Musketeers, there is no fucking movie as far as I'm concerned. This is why I said at the very beginning, if we're gonna have,
If it's the 3 Musketeers, does that make Reds the 4th, like the kid that joins up?
flat Earth fucking bullshit on non sequitur, I want Steve McRae there, because that's a non sequitur I know. That's a non sequitur that I love, and I would really hate for this shit to go down the path that it's currently going, unless we steer the ship and avoid the fucking iceberg. Because
I think had Kyle actually been looking to resolve his made-up problems, because that's what they were. He just made up issues and falsified nonsense. Falsified drama, tried to cause drama on his own. As far as I'm concerned, Kyle was bullshitting from like months ahead of time. And had Kyle not been doing that, had Kyle actually been an honest agent, I think Red's tactic here would have worked. I think what Red's trying to negotiate the way he is, to keep trying to keep things open and trying to be as even-handed as he possibly could, even if he's reaching a little bit, I think it probably would have worked. But because Kyle already had made his decision months beforehand, and he's just seeing the fallout of it now, his plan is coming to fruition at this point, because this is premeditated. He knew. So, did we get a buffer? I'm just gonna pause for a second and wait to see if this buffer goes through. I don't know if the buffer's only on my end, because I'm not getting an error on the other side. Okay, it stopped. I don't know if we lost anything, but we're gonna keep going.
I'll tell you one thing, it may seem all well and good right now, but it's going to turn into a shit show. I would rather it not turn into a fucking shit show. That doesn't mean
Well, Reds was correct. It turned into a shit show.
saying it. Other people
But I'm not
outside,
gonna lose money
on your
on this.
side, Kyle, and on your side, Steve, will eat this up.
I know. I agree.
Here's what I think we need to do. If there needs to be a renegotiation of the plans being done, fine. But
I'm not
Steve McRae should
renegotiating. I
have
get
the
50%.
option of, hang on.
Not happening.
Steve McRae should have the option of taking on more work
That's fine.
to equal that
Yes, of course.
50%.
That's why I kept bringing on.
If he
Yes,
is not,
yes, you're right.
if he is not pulling his weight, then let him pull his weight. That way, we cannot say it's from a lack of effort or a lack of willingness.
Yeah, I'm the one that went out.
That's
and
what I
got
think
a bunch
should
of
happen.
guests, and half of them responded to me. Kyle's not responding to them.
Yes, so that is that essentially Kyle is taking on more work, not scheduling Steve, and then Steve says he's getting guests, and he's telling them to talk to Kyle for scheduling, and Kyle is not getting back to them. And so by not getting back to those guests, it means that the only guests that are coming on are the ones that Kyle is pulling, and therefore Steve's not pulling his weight. The answer is Steve's not pulling his weight was bullshit from the beginning. And so what Reds is saying, well, let's remove that factor. Let's remove the unequal amount of work and figure out what does Kyle consider the equal amount of work here, because he's the one with the issue. What would be equal to Kyle? Well, if we can figure that out, and Reds is not talking about renegotiating the 50%. Reds is talking about renegotiating the workload, so that way, in Kyle's mind, it's equal. It will never reach that, because Kyle's full of shit, but, whatever.
Yeah, because the show's going in a different direction.
Well,
now I'm fine with you.
I've been working my ass off to get guests,
fine.
and they kept back to me and say, "Well, Steve, I don't know what's going on with Kyle."
Listen,
and now you're telling me that you want to take me out of some funding.
Here in the okay,
I think that's a very bad decision, Kyle.
This is what I'm willing to do. It's not going to be 50%.
It is 50%. That's non-negotiable.
Forward.
I'm not going
No,
in perpetuity. For the time this channel is
listen,
on, you'll be stealing from me if you don't give me half of the percentages in perpetuity.
Steve, you're going to get all everything that up until that point, but it's not going forward in perpetuity. You can
it is perpetuity.
You can spend
So this is Kyle trying to accuse Steve of spinning anything so that he can maintain that 50%. There is no maintaining that 50%. That's the agreement. The only way you can do that is if you renegotiate and one of the partners willingly pulls back or pulls out. It has to be willing. So, like, let's say Steve was retiring, and Steve was like, listen, I'm not going to do as much anymore. I don't want to be as part of the show as much. I'm going to go do my own thing. I'm still going to come on some of the time, and so I'm willing to give up a portion of my percentages for that, to that degree. To match that I'm not going to be as involved anymore. He doesn't have to do that, but Steve's relatively altruistic. He probably would do that if that meant that somebody else was picking up most of the work. So, like, for Caffeine Corner, I pull in a percentage of the super chats, but I don't pull in any of the additional revenue that comes from either Steve's Patreon or people that any of that stuff, and I don't want to. But the reason I make less off of those episodes than Steve does is because he also, it's on his channel, that's what we agreed to, and he does more of the work for Caffeine Corner than I do. That's just a fact. And it's designed that way. It's designed that way on purpose. I am a host, and once in a while I kind of direct and run the conversation, and sometimes I also, like, we both pull in topics and what to talk about and what we want to talk about. But for the most part, I leave a lot, unless I have something that I'm like, oh, hey, I want to do this. Most of the time, Steve is the one who pulls the topics, or Steve is the one who kind of gets a lot of the resources. And that's fine. That's the way it works for that show. When we do Non Sequitur, of course it's going to be a different negotiation because it's going to be a different show entirely, right? Caffeine Corner was only ever just a holdover, and so it's kind of evolved into its own thing, which I like, I enjoy. It may or may not run its course by the time Non Sequitur joins up. It's sort of starting to take another different kind of turn, which I really like, and so... But if it's going to take a different direction, and I have a problem with that, if I'm like, hey, listen, I don't really like the new direction. Like, I mean, I said that. We talked about moving the times around, and we tried it once or twice, and I was like, I'm not really buying it. I don't think it works. And all I did was say, I'm not really buying it. I don't think this is working, to Steve, and he was like, yeah, no, I agree. And look, done. We put the time back. Like, it's not... There is no strife here. It's a conversation. If he said, I want to try it for a little bit longer, I would have said, okay, yeah, no problem. I don't think it's working, but we can try it for a little bit longer if that's what you want to do, and that's fine. If it was a matter of like, no, listen, this is really not working for me, Steve would listen to me, and I would be able to communicate with him why it's not working for me. It's really not this complicated. It's only complicated because Kyle's trying to fucking steal. He's trying to steal from Steve, straight up. It's just a con artist.
Spin whatever narrative that you'd like. I'm ready.
Spin whatever narrative you'd like. Nobody needs to spin a narrative. We all saw what you really look like, Kyle.
To deal with any kind of fallout. I'm totally fine. I've
He's fine to deal with any kind of fallout. 2 years later. Ooh, that aged like milk. Oof.
thought about this very carefully.
How are you? We started with a handshake, 50-50, and you're violating that because you got some fame out of it.
People, listen. People, shit changes. People change. It has nothing to do with the fame.
Shit changes and people change. That's not how contracts work. That's not how business works. What if Steve did that? So what if Steve right now just threw Kyle's words back at him and said, yeah, well, that means I get 100% then. If you don't want anything to do with me and want to take the show in a different direction, I'm going to take over 100% of the show. I'm going to take everything. You give that to me right now, and you go do your thing and spin off your show that way. Done.
It has nothing to do with
So what does it deal with?
It's the fact that this is now, listen.
This is now your channel.
Since every single time they try to address one of Kyle's issues, he says, that's not the problem, and then talks about something unrelated. And when they ever ask him, how is that related, he says, that's not the problem, and then goes off again.
So you've taken over.
All this? Yeah, it became that.
Oh, it became
Now-
that. Okay, so
Now,
all the
of course-
people that are going to find out
Hold
about
on,
this,
hold on.
all the people that are going
Reds,
to find out about this,
Reds.
you taking over the channel behind my back and taking money from me. How is that going to look good?
Maybe.
By the way, Kyle has already said that he's stealing from Steve money and the show. He's already stated multiple times that that is what he's done. He's taken the show and he's changed the deal retroactively. So that includes work that Steve has already done. So he's saying up till this arbitrary change date, whatever date Kyle decides that is going to be, which means that all of the money that Steve thought he was working for and making up until that point has been stolen from him. So Kyle is saying that, yes, indeed, I did steal from you, and yes, indeed, I am taking the show from you, and yes, indeed, I did do it all behind your back. 'Cause fuck you. And nobody's gonna give a shit about you, essentially. I'm ready to deal with that fallout. The report says this was a lie. He was not ready to deal with the fallout because he thought he could get away with it. And as soon as the fans found out, especially as soon as this video had come out, oh, it was not good. I got a phone call after this was over. I got a phone call and was like, yo, get in. We need to have a conversation. And that video's still out there. That was, some people in the chat have talked about that video. Yeah, that was after this. I don't know how you get people like Jimmy Snow and how you get people like Caitlin Chloe and GE and that whole group of shitheads say, like, backing Kyle in any way, shape, or form, or even behaving the way that they have and that they continue to behave with this video in existence. He said out loud that he was stealing and was planning to, that this was premeditative, and that he was stealing the show and the money. He said that in this video.
Maybe they will. Maybe there will be people that think that. But I think that if the people that honestly see everything that went into the channel, whether the decisions that we made along the way, some of us, we probably could have done a lot better. And if we could do them all over again, we may have done them.
You're stealing from me, is what
that's
I'm
not.
How are you not stealing from me? This was 50-50.
I heard you.
Red, is he stealing from me at this point if he cuts me out for 50-50? Because I haven't seen a dime from this. As far as I know, he took everything.
Steve is right. Kyle is stealing and he's admitting to doing so, and he's happy that he's doing it.
Took all the money from all.
Hang on. Okay, fine. I'll answer your goddamn question, Steve, but you have to shut the fuck up and let me actually answer. Okay? Here's my answer to you, Steve. Is Kyle stealing? No, and I'm going to tell you why. I am going to tell you why. Okay? I don't agree with the way Kyle went ahead and did most of the work. I don't fucking agree with that. I think that was a shit thing to do, honestly, Kyle. But the fact remains, he did most
irrelevant.
Of the work.
We went into this 50-50 with a handshake.
Hang on. Let me finish. However, now that we have identified that problem, the question is, how do we move forward from here? Kyle said.
So basically, Reds is saying that provided Kyle doesn't take over the show right now, and provided that, like, ignoring this adjustment, and if we fix this adjustment to the workload, then no, it would not be stealing. Unfortunately, that is not the case, and that's not what happened. And I bet you any money, Reds has changed his mind.
That the channel is going in a different direction. In my opinion, it's been exactly what it has been, talking about multitude of topics with multitude of people at different times, at different places. Now there's an actual event that's supposed to be featuring everything happening on the Non Sequitur show. It goes in every direction. The direction of the Non Sequitur is to go in every fucking direction.
So he's talking about what the original point of the show was. The original point of the show was to opinions are sacred, and we're going to there is no topic that is off limits. We're going to talk about anything. Whatever your opinion is, we can have a conversation about it. That is the point of the show. To then start narrowing that field is what Kyle is talking about doing.
Imaginable. Right, basically, there is no avenue. Whether we're talking about flat Earth, Jilly Juice, LGBTQ+, whatever the case may be, that's the direction we go. It goes in every direction. And I think, even though Steve may not have an expertise when it comes to LGBTQ,
I can talk about any
I know one thing for a fact: he is not transphobic. He is not homophobic. He is not racist.
So the context for that was that people that were backing Kyle and did back Kyle made these accusations of Steve, and that's why that's coming up.
I have supported those people on those points every time they've been brought up.
And I appreciate that.
I will be willing
to answer. Let me get to the punchline first. Let me get to the punchline, and then I'll be done. Just 30 seconds. Just give me 30 goddamn seconds. Okay? 30 seconds starting now.
Go ahead.
What I think needs to happen is that we need to negotiate a proper form of payment up until this point right here. And then from there, work to make it 50%. So
there you go. So the payment of 50% up until now, then making any adjustments to get the workload of Steve up so it will be 50%. So that way, if what Reds is saying was what happened, then yes, there would be no theft. There would be no theft going on because there would be no change to Steve's pay up until this point, which is what Kyle is saying there will be. So what Steve is saying is that if you do this way, you're stealing from me. And Kyle's saying this is the way I'm going to do it, and Steve's saying that's stealing, and Reds is saying don't do it that way, because that's if you do it this way, it's not stealing, because the show continues on and you get Steve's workload up to a point where Kyle thinks it's fair, and then the 50-50 amount goes onward. We just have to renegotiate the amount of work being done. Again, this only works if Kyle is being honest, but he's not being honest, and realistically, if these were actually his problems, these would have been solved months ago. It would have never gotten to this point.
So that we can actually have
okay with
equal
that. I'll have
everywhere
more shows.
around.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
He can get he can get the 50% up until the
No.
where
50
this
in perpetuity.
point started. That's
in
not
perpetuity. I will have. No.
You notice what Steve or what Kyle just said. No, he can get 50% up until this point started. That he's not saying now this point. He's saying up until I decided he wasn't working enough and never told him. After I started kicking him out of work, after I started boxing him out so that he couldn't do that amount. So therefore, him not doing work was by my design so that I wouldn't have to pay him. So yes, Kyle is saying he's going to steal from Steve. Period. He will not negotiate on stealing.
I'll do 10 shows a week if you want. I am not giving up my stake in this. I've said from day one, 50% in perpetuity for the entire time of the channel. Residuals. That's what I had planned on for my life, Kyle.
You're just yelling now. I'm gonna.
I feel like
you're just yelling. He's making a point, and he's not wrong.
You're stealing from me. Wait. If I don't get, Reds, if I don't get,
It's fine here.
Reds,
Let me hear.
if I have more episodes.
Let me hear what Kyle.
Okay, but Reds, I want you to answer this. If I have more episodes,
or I'm fucking leaving because I'm.
Let me hear.
And now you see Kyle doing that thing that, oh well, I'm gonna threaten you if I'm gonna cut off this conversation. I'm gonna cut off the line here if I don't get to say what I get to say. Dude, that's not how relationships work. That's not how conversation cutting off the line of communication is. If you threaten that, if you make that as a threat and you try to manipulate that way, you're the asshole. If you do, it's one thing to be like, okay, listen, I need a breather, I need to walk away for a second. That would be fine. That I need to carry on this conversation later. The thing is that one, they can't trust Kyle to be able to walk away and call them back tomorrow. They can't trust him because he's been dodging everybody. This is their only chance as far as they're concerned because they've been trying for three weeks. Now, if Kyle was like, listen, I'm up to here and I'm having this, I need to get out what I need to say. Kyle wants to ask Reds a question, they can have that conversation. I'm going to get up, I'm going to get a glass of water, I'm going to take a whiz, whatever. I'm going to take a bit of a break so I can breathe and then I can come back. But Kyle is not being honest. He's threatening this line of communication because he doesn't want to have the conversation in the first place. He just wants to tell everybody. And because they're not buying his bullshit, he's totally fine with cutting off the conversation because he thinks that the non sequitur, you guys who are watching, he thinks you guys are too stupid to catch on to what he's done or to think that what he's done is not acceptable. That's what he thinks. And that's what his group of jackasses thought too. The Jimmy Snows, the Caitlin Chloes, that Katie Joy Polson. They thought that you were gonna buy this bullshit. Sorry. No.
Hear what Kyle has to say. Let me hear.
To be fair, there have been a couple of rejects who have bought Kyle's bullshit. Although none of them, besides the ones who bought it initially, like the ones who probably were working with Kyle, by the ones who were working with Kyle by being involved in chat and trying to smear Steve, those ones bought his bullshit, but they were also probably bullshitting him too, so it was like a two-way road of bullshit. But there have been people who have, after the fact, after this has come out, who have still been so dumb as to buy Kyle's bullshit or try and push Kyle's bullshit as if it makes them look all riding on their fucking moral high horses like they fucking know what's going on. There's a level of stupidity that is just like it's that graph I showed you. How much you hate somebody, how dishonest you are equals how stupid you're gonna fucking be about something. How dumb you're willing to look.
Here's what I'm willing to do. We can keep the 4 days a week with you. You can get the 50% for the days that you're on.
Well, now that's changing something else entirely. Now he's suggesting you can stay on 4 nights a week, but you only get 50% of the shows you're on. That's not 50% of the whole show, which is what is initially the thing. Now he's saying you can get... He thinks he can con Steve. The way he's wording this is on purpose. He's trying to say this in a way that Steve will buy into, that he's getting the same amount. So it's like you're getting 50% for all the shows you're on, but that's all the shows you're on, not the show, which is what he had. He's trying to con him.
The show going forward, and
No.
I'm fine with that.
No. Half
Steve doesn't fall for it.
half Patreon's mine that I've not seen a dime on. Half the Steam Labs is half of that is mine. Half of that everything
Steam Labs, we don't get anything from Steam Lab. The Teespring stuff, I make all of that stuff.
I make all that stuff, so I get it. No. So he's trying to say that, so he would only get 50% of the show he's on, which means which means the super chats and the ad revenue, presumably. That doesn't include, like Steve said, that doesn't address the Patreon, that doesn't address the Teespring. You know, you have my face on a mug, you have my face on a shirt, you have my face on a sock. There's 2 socks, and one of them's got your face and one of them's got my face. I need 50% of that.
We have $1,000.
Yes, and
we have $1,000 from Steam Labs from 2017 that I didn't get a dime of. You took all that.
What is Steam Labs?
Yes, from Steam Labs.
What is Steam Labs?
But Steam Labs is
I
like
don't know what Steam Labs.
It's funny because Kyle said Steam Labs twice also. He's just being a pedantic shithead. Do you think that they were actually buying Kyle's bullshit, or was it more likely they didn't like Steve personally and were motivated by that? Both. I think it was a matter of kind of confirmation bias. So it's like they already didn't like Steve, so they were more willing to buy whatever Kyle was saying about Steve. And so it was like a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B.
Patreon, only they give you the money through Steam Labs. There was $875 in it last time you cut me out of it. You took all that.
You mean Streamlabs?
Streamlabs, yeah.
Yeah, all that.
Not
Look, you're not getting cut out of anything up until the point where
the Teesprings, all
we're
that
at
was
now.
Until the point where we're at now. What does that mean? Does that mean right this second, or does that mean when we got to the point where we're at, which would be some arbitrary time in the past, which has not been decided on? That's a question for all of the people who interviewed Kyle. That would have been an amazing question. When did you decide Steve wasn't doing enough work to the point that he ought to be cut out a percentage? What was that date? Where was it? Where was that where you made that decision? Because it might have been a gradual change. I'm asking where was it to you? Where did you make that decision? That would have been a good question that any of those people could have asked. But everybody who interviewed Kyle just sucked his dick. Rodent for 5 said, I can hear in your voice that he's already drained, I can hear in his voice that he's already drained the account and is cornered. Has to take over or the embezzlement will be discovered. Seems like it.
You have my face on a mug.
And like
everything
said,
from day one.
You have my face on a mug. I feel like I should grab that for a soundboard.
Including the merchandise, by the way, which I wanted to turn over to David so he had an income, was supposed to be 50-50.
What did I tell you back in April? What did I tell you back in April? I said that the CPA that is handling the funds, when you're ready, he needs to know how you want that done.
I want to see the financials. I want a breakdown of all the P&L report
and how that you aren't.
I want a financial report of everything.
And how do you?
So this is July that this had happened in. Now he's saying that he is acknowledging that Steve has been asking for financials since April, May, June, 3 months. 3 months Steve has been asking for this information. And what has Kyle said in this call when Steve has been asking about getting that money sent to him? Well, are you ready for your money? He's been asking for 3 months, asshole.
Do you want it? Do you want it
Email
all
me
in
it.
one lump? Because
No.
there's going to be a paper trail.
I understand that. It's fine. I want an email
Yeah, Kyle, where's your paper trail for the funds, you fuckhead?
of all the proceedings, P&L report, cost and out, and I want 50%
Okay,
in
now-
perpetuity from
let's-
everything that deals with this channel. If you don't like it, move to another
No.
channel, Kyle. I'm willing to work more days a week.
That's out of the question.
Reds,
That is out of the question. This is my channel. I made it. It's me.
Out of the question.
if I started this channel with him and it was from in perpetuity from day one, so I had residuals to look forward to, that my daughter that I've told, if something happens to me, she has residuals from this channel. How is that not stealing from me, Reds? That's absolute theft.
That's
Okay, hang on.
That's absolute
Hang on.
theft.
Let me answer that question. Let me answer that question, Steve. Let me
Sue
answer
me.
that question. Kyle,
There it is. 47 minutes and 52 seconds. Sue me. There it is.
if okay, Kyle, I'm going to ask you a point blank question. Was that the original agreement?
Yes.
Yes or no?
what 50%?
Was-
within 50%?
Yes, we've got it in
Yes,
writing.
that thing. What
Yeah.
That was
There it is. Was that the agreement? Yes. So anybody who ever says there wasn't an agreement, and two, it was never 50-50, has been full of shit since June of 2019. Oh, did I say this was July? Sorry, it's June. So April, May, June. 2 months. Sorry, 2 months that Steve has been trying to get a hold of these financials, not 3. So this is June. I misread it as July. So this is right a month before my birthday. Now we know. So you've got... God, this is so cringe to watch. Fucking Kyle be such a shithead to everybody. Let me just go back. Why haven't you liked that video? Because it causes me too much cringe.
okay, Kyle. I'm going to ask you a point blank question. Was that the original agreement?
Yes.
Yes or no?
What 50%? Within 50%?
Yes, we've got it
Yes,
in
that
writing.
thing. What
Yes, that's Kyle saying yes.
that was the actual agreement. Now when
So, again, Kyle said yes. Anybody who has said there was no agreement or that it wasn't 50-50 as of June 2019 has been full of shit and has been lying to you since June of 2019. This is a straight up fact. This is a straight up Kyle agreed to it. Kyle says multiple times in this video, but that is a straight direct question. Was this the agreement? And he said yes. Anybody saying otherwise is garbage.
that changed, did Steve sign off on it anywhere?
He never told me those changes.
Here's
Just right
the-
now I heard it. First time I heard anything about
Here's
it.
the thing though. Steve, can you do the music? Can you do the graphics?
Irrelevant.
I can do There you go. There's your music. Fuck you.
We started this channel together.
What are you? No,
People
that's not
got, hey, no,
relevant.
no,
That
no.
is what
How much
makes-
did they pay for your
that is what
software?
makes-
How much did they pay for your software? Did
that is what-
Patreons pay for your software
that
so
is
you could
what
do the
makes
music for
this-
the channel? How much did they pay
That
for that,
is what
Kyle?
makes this
How much did they pay for that, Kyle?
That is what makes this.
How much did
that is
they
what
pay
makes
for that,
this fucking
Kyle?
channel.
How much did they pay for
Steve,
that?
can you do this stuff? I'm about to go. If
Then
he
go,
can't
and
have
we'll do
a-
the
There he goes, running away again because he can't answer a question. How much did people pay for your software? Because remember, at this point, nobody knew about the additional Amazon wish list that Kyle had people spending off of. That was only for him. Nobody knew about it, or at least Steve and Boole didn't. So... what do you expect? Like, what are you wanting? He's gonna just try and run away again because he just wants to have things his way, and he's a big fat baby loser face.
show without you tonight. And then all this is going to go public.
I will lock you. Okay, I can fix that right now too.
Okay. I recorded all this, Kyle. I think you need, and I'm going to play
Good.
this. Good.
Steve,
Reds,
Steve,
take
play-
off.
Oh, look, none of this being public is a problem. None of this being recorded is a problem.
Play it.
I'm done.
Play it.
Play it and
as
sue
far as
me.
I'm concerned, he stole this money from me.
I think people will see. I think people will see the side that they want to see, and
So
So are you guys just seeing the side you want to see, or did anybody really want to see this side of Kyle? I don't think anybody really wanted to see this. Did everybody want to see Kyle's bare ass all over the fucking internet for the past 2 years?
I'm fine with that.
So you kicking? I want to know. Are you kicking me off the show, Kyle? Are you kicking me off the show?
There it is. He wants to open it up to the court of public opinion.
What did I just say, Steve? About you? We can still continue to do your 4 days a week. I believe I said that.
And by doing so, you're going to steal money from me. Fine, I'll do the 4 days a week, even though I could do more. But I'm going to let people know that you're taking money from me in perpetuity.
So, Steve just agreed to continue doing the show, but with the knowledge that he's being stolen from and everybody watching the show. So that would allow Steve to still be on the Non Sequitur show while Kyle was stealing from him. Wouldn't that have been interesting to watch? I don't know what would have happened there. That would have been fucking shit. I don't know what would be more of a shit show at that point.
Fine, in perpetuity, fine. But you'll get half of the shows that you're on.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah, so he's cutting out, Steve, from all of the Patreon. He's cutting him out all of the Teespring, all of the Streamlabs stuff, all of any other revenue that the show is making, when that was the original agreement, was 50% of everything, to only 50% of 4 shows a week.
You're literally.
And Steve is saying, I'll do the 4 shows a week for that amount, but you will be stealing from me because I'm not agreeing to the change in contract. And everybody will know it.
You're literally stealing money from me and my family, Kyle. Because it's not we built this channel together, and people will find out about this. That's fine. That's fine. Red, decided to do the show tonight. I'm going to make this video that I recorded, and I'm going to show. And I want people to understand that Kyle is literally.
You asked Reds if it was stealing, and he said it wasn't. That's not what Red said. Red said if you do it this way, it's not stealing.
Has changed our negotiations for financial reasons because he has taken over everything. And to me, that is theft, because I relied on this channel in perpetuity because we built it together.
If that's the narrative that you want,
that's not a narrative. That's the fucking truth, Kyle. Dave.
Kyle is now saying, well, he's trying to dismiss it. He's trying to be dismissive of it. Kyle already agreed that it was stealing. Kyle already agreed that he changed the deal, that this was the amount he was supposed to be given, and that he was retroactively not going to be giving Steve money for the contract that he signed, and that he was taking the channel, and that he had kicked him out. He's already agreed to all these things.
Dave's not gonna put up with this too.
That, and yeah, he hasn't even they haven't even talked about the percentage change that Steve had proposed to allow Bullionator to make any reasonable amount of money off of this.
Then do it. That's fine. He doesn't have to.
All right.
He doesn't have to.
Finally, I got back in. My internet took a massive shit. Okay. Here's basically what's happening right now. Kyle, I
told Kyle I recorded all this.
I honestly don't know.
I told him I'm happy playing with the public.
I'm fine with you recording it, Steve. I'm not saying anything here that I wouldn't say out
perfect. Okay, but here's the
I'm not saying anything here I wouldn't have said in public. Really? Because that's not what you told the judge, fuckface.
Here's the thing. The original agreement was 50%.
Yes.
You went and changed that without informing him. Okay, Kyle.
I didn't.
Listen.
Oh, now he's saying no.
Listen.
No. Now you're being no. I did not change anything. It was a progression to where the details of the show became such that I was keeping up with. I was putting together. Let me ask you this question.
So yes, that's him saying no. It's this, which equals a yes.
As Non-Sequitur as it stands right now,
you know, the yes he already said to.
Could it exist without Steve?
No. Time has shown that no, this Non-Sequitur show as you know it at this point could not exist without Steve. Big oof. Big fucking oof.
At this point, I don't know.
Yes, and it can also exist without you.
Yeah, it can exist without you,
Kyle.
That's fine.
And
if you want to start your own channel, then give me this channel and do your thing somewhere else, and we will take over this, and I will give you half the proceeds from this channel in perpetuity.
There's a fucking good negotiation. That would be such a huge win for Kyle. If Kyle had taken that, that would have been huge. That would have been a huge win for him. If he wasn't so fucking arrogant and stupid, he would have just been able to do whatever show he fucking wanted to be with his butt buddy, Dear Mr. Atheist, fucking Jimmy Snowflake over there. He could have done that show with him and grown that however he fucking wanted. He could have done Tastecraft, which they're not doing for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why he's not doing these shows with Jimmy anymore. I don't know why they don't have him around anymore or what's going on with them. They sure seem to be in friendly contact with each other on Twitter, but I don't know why they're not doing their shows together. You'd have to ask them that. But he could have then continued to make the money off of NonSeq. He could have stepped out and said, listen, I'm only going to do graphics. I'm only going to do audio for the show. I'm going to take a step back and still get that 50%. This would have been such a good deal for him, and he's just too stupid to realize it.
No.
That's fair.
Kyle,
Do it,
listen.
Mr. Miniker.
The
Give me
fact
this
is,
channel
the fact
then.
is,
Hey, negative exponents. Like I said, time out until you answer the question. Give us the information and give us the shit that you said and evidence that you said you had for us. You keep sending messages in here without answering any of that from last week. You answer that from last week, you're more than welcome. Now, on the other hand, you did say that you would get with me last week, and you haven't gotten with me at all. And now you're claiming you're going to do so again. And so you're still in the chat, not getting with me that information that you said you would get. So, again, time out until you get with me. And Red's had a challenge for you, so you ought to go and give permission to show all that information where he threatened you. So, if your next tweet or your next message in here isn't either the information that you said you had or the permission that the challenge, you can meet Red's challenge, you're going to keep getting timed out. Don't worry, you're not going to get hidden because you're going to allowed to keep coming back as much as you want to make yourself look like an ass. But you're timed out until you actually answer.
it's not...
And
Kyle,
I
you
give my
asked me a
word, I'll give
question.
you
The question
anything
is,
that would
could
happen to this channel, I'll give you in perpetuity.
Hang on,
I have it
Steve.
recorded.
You asked me
I'll
a
give you the
question,
recording.
Kyle. If this channel could actually exist without Steve, the answer is yes, but it can also exist without you. It can.
I agree. The channel could exist without either of them. But like I said, Steve is a lot harder to replace than Kyle is, as we've seen. I'm easier to replace than Steve is. And that's just a fact. Steve just has a very niche amount of an eclectic amount of stuff. it's just stuff. It's connections. It's like curated knowledge from like 17 different fucking fields of all over the place. He just has an eclectic amount of stuff that he can bring to the table through guests and through conversation. I bring more to the table than Kyle does, obviously. That's not even my hair is even better. But it's not, I can do mixing. I can do art. I'm funnier than Kyle is, and I bring more to the table when it comes to conversation than Kyle ever did. I also have like a litty board here, so I can do little whiteboardy stuff if I want. So this is not in question. Kyle, on the other hand, is very easily to replace. As you can see, I exist. Hi, hello, what up? It's me, your boy. Let me help you out here. There's no contention here. This was a unanimous decision that the community made. They saw, and I appreciate it. They saw value in what I could bring to the table. Steve and Boole and Reds saw value in what I could bring to the table. So I was invited to the table. Simple as that. And so the same thing would apply to Kyle, and the same thing that would apply to Steve. You would just reach out to find somebody who could do the job that Steve does to whatever degree. But the thing is that Kyle doesn't see the value in other people. He doesn't see the value beyond what numbers somebody could bring in. He doesn't see the value besides how much he thinks somebody can or will suck his dick. Because he's an asshole.
Exist without both of you.
Yeah.
But I would actually prefer just as a preference that both of you were actually still on it.
And I'm okay with that, but I'm not doing it for less than 50%.
$5 says that everybody changed their minds about that. Actually, to be fair, at any point during this, after this had come out, given Kyle not making a heel turn and being incredibly apologetic and setting everything right within the first maybe month or two, maybe, give or take, I think that if Kyle came back and they started doing the show again, it would have taken a long time for people to forgive Kyle, and it would have taken an even longer time for people to forgive Steve for letting Kyle come back, in my opinion.
In perpetuity. That was our original agreement. I'm not going to let him take money out of my own pocket. That's ridiculous.
That's
That
not the way it's
was
gonna
the
be.
original. That
was the
was
original
the
agreement.
original agreement. And quite honestly, Kyle, anything less than that is a dick move.
Yeah, and it's theft.
Yes. Look. Okay.
I will treat
Listen,
it as theft.
Here's the thing.
The thing that you have to respect Steve for is he's right and he's sticking to his guns. And I think that's something Landon had said on Twitter. Don't argue with Steve on facts. You're just gonna make yourself mad.
I know the things that I did and the things that I didn't do.
How about we do
and
this?
the motives behind
How
them.
about we do this? Kyle,
The motives don't matter. It's too late. Yella Scummer says Kyle has a better tailor than me. That's only because I don't have $400 to spend on suits.
No, let me finish this.
Okay,
I'm gonna get this out.
All right, go ahead.
I know what
To be fair, Kyle might only have nicer suits than me until I get Kyle's suits after all of this goes down, because if Steve ends up just like taking his stuff, he said he would send me the suit jackets. So I might end up with Kyle's suits.
what happened. I know the heart and the attention to detail and everything that I wanted to put into the show, and I did it. Okay?
So he's saying that he willingly did the work and did additional stuff to better the show. That's not Steve not doing his end of the bargain. That's you taking on more work than you discussed or agreed to. That's your own fault. That has nothing to do with anybody else, you fucking moron.
Is those motivations behind that were not monetary related or in any way to fuck over such and such. It was because the end product needed to be something different, and I made
The end product needed to be something different, something other than what the channel had grown to, something other than what was bringing people into the show, something other than things that Kyle didn't identify as him. Gross.
it different. Now, if you want to look at that and say that that was me taking on the burden and not giving it out, fine. That's your narrative to spin.
who did all the...
That's not a narrative to spin, you fucking idiot. That's what you're saying. Apparently it's your narrative to spin, Kyle, not anybody else's. You're the one spinning it.
But
who did the promotion from...
This is the cringe of a movie pointing out the plot hole in its own movie without ever actually addressing it or fixing it and just saying, wow, that's a pretty big plot hole over there. Well, shit, moving on. It's like, no, that doesn't make the plot hole any better unless it's in the right context. This is not the right context.
beginning? Who got the guest?
It came and you are going to get the money for that. Like you're
to
not
build
getting
this channel,
fucked
so
out
we
of
had
that.
something. You can't
That's
just
my
build
point.
a channel and then kick somebody out 50% without seeing just an agreement from perpetuity. You cannot change that and renegotiate that, Kyle. You cannot do it.
Yeah, you can't change that on your own. If you have an agreement with somebody, it's just like a marriage. It's like if somebody changes the terms of your marriage. Like, listen, we're working together, we built a home and stuff. Oh, but I'm kicking you out and you get nothing. Here's a basket of oranges. Fuck you. You don't. No, they take you to court. That's not how that works.
All right, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, Kyle. I know you're going through a lot. We're gonna do this.
I
We're gonna do this. You're going through a lot of stuff right now. I'm gonna let you really think about this very, very hard and carefully. Reds, I will not do the show tonight. If you want to do it.
And there it is, the admission that this was premeditative. I'm going to let you think about this. You're going through a rough time. I'm going to be charitable. I'm going to give you some time to think about this and what you're actually doing. Kyle, I have.
You're more than welcome to. I would ask that you don't, because you promised to me that you won't go on without me.
There's
We will go.
There's not going to be a show tonight.
Okay, then that's
There's not
fine.
going to be a show tonight.
Then I'm gonna
Oh
I'm
no,
gonna go on.
no.
What?
Hang on. There is going to be a show tonight. There is going to be a show tonight.
So right now, Boole has, if I'm not mistaken, Boole had the ability to actually go live. Like, Boole had the capability of hitting that go live button, and Kyle may or may not have been able to stop it. That I'm not sure about, but Kyle seems pretty confident that he has complete control over the situation.
You think that? Here's the thing. There is another channel that
And there it is. So this is I love the change in Reds' voice here, because if you're listening very carefully, he's like, there's going to be a show, and Kyle's just like, oh no there isn't, and no there isn't, and Reds is like, there's gonna be a show, no there isn't. Okay, Kyle, fuck you. Like, listen.
Then I'm gonna
Oh
I'm
no,
gonna go on.
no.
What?
Hang on. There is going to be a show tonight. There is going to be a show tonight. You think that? Here's the thing. There is another channel that also has 30,000 subs.
Redrick's channel.
Yes, there will be a show tonight, and in fact, it's going on in 5 minutes. I
was on that show.
hope you both are there, and I hope you both have fun. And yes, that flat earther that was patiently waiting is going to be there momentarily.
That's fine.
But not until after I go ahead and give your guys' producer a great fucking timeout. Because at this point, I owe that dude a fucking burger. I drove to the ends of the fucking earth for that guy. And right now, Kyle, you not including him or taking his feelings into account is actually quite fucking shitty.
Yeah, you'll notice that up until this point, Kyle's completely ignored Boole.
Which you very rarely
So
do.
right now, I'm going to go.
You leave
I am not. I am going to go.
Okay, you know what? Okay, if that's the way that you want to be, fuck you both. We can play. We can do this. Okay, let's do this.
Sounds
Reds,
like a plan to me.
That was a wrong move there, buddy.
That's the wrong move there, buddy. Not your buddy, guy.
Actually, for me, it was the right one, and I stand by it 100%.
Yeah, I think he's making some very bad decisions at this point.
Oh, he's hung up at this point. So Kyle's gone. He's out. He's done. That was the wrong move, buddy. It's been 2 years, and both Steve and Reds have stuck to that all the way through court. However much money has been fucking spent on this, Kyle has done nothing but bare his ass to the internet constantly. At this point, it's them wrapping up and talking about how they feel about it, and I think that's enough of the video itself. I think that face kind of sums it up. Look at his face. Oh my god. But I think that's Dapper says, so yeah, I was over on Red's channel after this because I got a call, and Dapper says, that show you were in after this is when I wondered who the F is this woman and why is she sitting on her floor. Yes, I had moved and I didn't have any furniture yet. Yeah, I guess I kind of came in at a left field. Nobody really knew where I came from. Surprise! I'd been around for a while, but a little bit more on the side, in the background. Do believe there is no BK in prison. Can we get some Trigglypuffs in the side for how absurd this got? Cajun Crustacean for 2 says, to be fair, Kyle is a connoisseur of wrong choices. I mean, boop. I gotta say, you've got a really good point there. He looks like a Muppet. He does look like a Muppet. I think there's gotta be like a level of like, if you're a connoisseur of bad choices, where would you like scale some of this? Because like some of them not so bad, some of them like absurd, and it's just the thing is, this is like a snowball and it's just gotten worse and worse and worse and worse, right? And at least for Kyle, it hasn't really gotten worse for anybody else, because this has been used to expose like a whole lot of absolute lying idiots, because like Kyle is a lying idiot. The people who were around Kyle at the time lying and help enable him to do this, a bunch of lying idiots. One of them's getting sued for like $5 million or some nonsense. And then there's been people that go around and say, oh, there was no deal, there was no 50-50, when Kyle says there was 50-50 in this video. Like, that's him. And then you've got, it's absurd. It's absolutely absurd. I don't know. things with stuff like this is like it's interesting to go back, and hopefully now that we've all remembered sort of what Kyle actually said, because that's why I thought this was important. To remember what Kyle's actually said and break it down a little bit, because he says a lot of nonsense all at once and sort of gish gallops his way through bullshit. And is a whole lot of, this is the problem. Oh, well, what about this? Well, that's not really the point. That's not the problem. This is the problem. Okay, well, what about this? Well, that's not really the point. That's where you get with this kind of thing. And so, especially going forward, looking at the lawsuit, which is what we're going to be doing. We're going to be reading through the lawsuit. So if you care to join me, like, subscribe, hit the bell, because I'm going to be start going through that. It was important to look back and remember what Kyle had actually said. Instead of being like, oh, well, did he say this? Did he say that? No. We've got Kyle's words, and we have exactly what he said. No bullshit. No other stuff going on. No this person's opinion. No that person's opinion. These are the words that Kyle spoke. Then now we can go through and move ahead and look at what he says in the lawsuit, what his lawyer ends up saying, what he tells his lawyer, and where things end up going from here. So, thank you everybody for coming. Thank you for the super chats. Puck's got lots of boops. I appreciate you guys. I know it was a long one. We went for 3 hours. My voice is tired. If you guys want to see the end of this, or if you want to watch it yourselves for any particular reason, for memes maybe, you want to get Kyle looking like a fucking Muppet, I'm gonna grab that screenshot of that real quick and I'm gonna post it on Twitter because that's funny to me. Kyle's a Muppet. And next time you see people saying bullshit, you've all been reminded 2 years later almost what had actually gone down. So join me later on talking about the looking at the actual lawsuit to see what had gone on, and like, subscribe, become a member, have a good sleep everybody, join Patreon and the Discord. Oh, and don't forget to not feed your Trigglypuffs after midnight. Have a good day everybody. Bye.